Hello, Internet. How are we this evening? Hope everyone is having a fantastic Sunday. We are back at our regular time. Welcome to CaliBased. You are watching the most popular show ever streamed from my living room. We got some breaking news. I was going to talk about the mask mandate stuff in California, which I still will, but we got some breaking news. There's more freaking, I don't know if it was a real assassination attempt. There's been a on Trump's life, apparently. Well, a would-be assassin, if you will, from what I'm hearing. Let me turn my volume up here. I'm not hearing myself so good there. All right, it's a little better. So apparently, so Trump had a rally out here in Coachella. It was probably the biggest crowd that Coachella's ever drawn since, in the last 10 years or so. Northside, nice to see ya. Let's see if you guys are watching over on Rumble, YouTube, or X, where we are streaming live. Come by the chat and say hi. Scarlett wants to say hi. Well, she did. Do you want to say hi or not? Okay. All right. You can say hi. Okay. This is Scarlett. She's the star of the show. Sometimes she jumps up on my lap and says hello at the beginning of the show. Sometimes she ignores you guys. But Wally World isn't here yet, so she's usually who she says hi to. Anyway, yeah, Trump, Coachella. Alleged assassin, would-be assassin, and that's the news. A third potential assassination attempt on Trump's life, and the news isn't really talking about it. It's like this has become normalized. Assassination attempts on the former president of the United States and lead, I'd say front runner in the entire election right now. Apparently, it's just normal run-of-the-mill business. So pretty insane. So we'll get into it. Again, hope you guys are having a fantastic evening. If you are here watching on X, YouTube, or Rumble, please give the show a like. Stop by the chat, say hello, comments, reposts, all that stuff greatly helps the show. Let's get right into it. Let's see what's going on with this would-be assassin, shall we? Let's see. Okay, so as I said, Trump was holding a rally over there in Coachella, and this is what it looks like. It's a pretty big crowd, pretty darn big crowd here. Let's see.
Come from all over the world. We settled them into Europe. They can now prey on innocent Americans for a while.
Now, keep in mind, folks, this is California, and this is 100-degree weather out there in Coachella. So looks like he's drawn a pretty big crowd. It looks pretty full there.
If Kamala gets 4 more years, the entire country will become like the migrant camp of LA and San Francisco. What the hell is that? Look, it's Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln.
There's a large crowd, folks.
Looks pretty good. When I win on November 5th, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. I had a good debate with a lot of very smart people, and they're all saying the economy is the most important thing.
So he got into a lot of California-specific issues, many of which we're not really going to have time to talk about tonight. But, immigration stuff, California wildfire stuff, sanctuary state stuff, a lot of stuff we will be talking about, just not from Trump's perspective of what he talked about during the rally. But again, it's a pretty big crowd for California, wouldn't you say? A lot of people would say that California is red. I swear, Scarlett's drinking water right now super loudly, and she doesn't do it until the show starts. She waits all day until the show starts. She doesn't drink any water at all day, and waits for the show to start just to do that. Okay, let's keep going here. So let me make sure I'm streaming on all the platforms over here. Looks like we're live on Rumble. I think we're live on YouTube. Make sure that we are actually live on X here. It looks like I am. All right. Looks like we're good. Stop by the chat and say hi, folks. You know how I get lonely. Okay. So apparently, again, would be assassin. So let's keep going here. This is from I Meme, Therefore I Am, and he's got a press release from the Riverside County Sheriff's Office. Let's see what that has to say. So I haven't read this yet either. All right, so this is from the Riverside County Sheriff's Office press release. Reporting Supervisor Sergeant Ben Medina, file C242860022. Details: on Saturday, October 12th at 2024 at 4:59 p.m., deputies assigned to former President Donald Trump's rally in the Coachella Valley contacted the driver of a black SUV at a checkpoint at the intersection of Avenue 52 and Celebration Drive. The male driver, identified as Vem Miller, a 49-year-old resident of Las Vegas, was found to be illegally in possession of a shotgun, a loaded handgun, and a high-capacity magazine. High-capacity magazine, guys. Miller was taken into custody without incident and later booked at the John J. Benoit, I think it's Benoit, is it French? Detention Center for possession of a loaded firearm and possession of a high-capacity magazine. This incident did not impact the safety of former President Trump or attendees of the event. Anyone with information on this case is encouraged to call Deputy Coronado at the Palm Desert Sheriff's Station by calling 760 area code 836-1600. Okay, so President Donald Trump's rally in Coachella Valley, deputies assigned to President Donald Trump's rally in Coachella Valley contacted the driver of a black SUV at a checkpoint. So just a checkpoint. So he's just driving down the street, apparently. The intersection of 52 and Celebration Drive. So I don't know how close that is to the Coachella rally, but so I guess they searched his car. I don't know how they can do that without probable cause, but the male driver, identified as Ben Miller, 49-year-old resident of Las Vegas, was found to be illegally in possession of a shotgun, a loaded handgun, and a high-capacity magazine. Well, I mean, many 2A absolutists would say he should be allowed to be in possession of all those things. I don't know if you're not supposed to be in possession of it within a certain vicinity of a rally, but okay, like this already seems weird to me, this situation. It doesn't say that, it's not like the first one where somebody quite literally took a shot, multiple shots at Trump, hit Trump in the damn head. Second one, where the guy was posted up outside of Trump's golf course for 12 hours, fully intending to shoot him. This was a guy got pulled over, and he had guns on him. So this doesn't seem like it's in the same ballpark as the other two incidents. But let's keep going. So this is from Clint Russell. He says, Sheriff press conference just now. Raises a ton of questions here. Allegedly, he was a sovereign citizen. So you guys know the sovereign citizen guys, sovereign citizen people. They're the ones that when they get pulled over, they refuse to identify themselves and they say stuff like, I'm a sovereign citizen. I don't need a driver's license. I don't need to have, tags on my car. They do all that weird stuff. Which, I mean, a lot of the stuff they say, I agree with them, but I don't call myself a sovereign citizen. Anyway, painting somebody with that brush, the sovereign citizen label, already makes them look like a kooky person. So it raises a ton of questions. Allegedly, he was a sovereign citizen who was stopped due to fake license plates. Okay, that's why he was stopped, but had multiple passports with different aliases. Another government asset, ? Seems likely. Okay, so Clint thinks this is a government asset. All right, well, so the press release said they stopped him at a checkpoint, though. So that's weird. I guess he had fake license plates and multiple passports. So let's watch the video. Let's watch further information coming out from the Riverside Sheriff's Department. This is, I recognize this cop. Isn't he running for office? Yeah, Chad Bianco. Isn't he running for... Yeah, he's running for something, I thought. I mean, well, he ran for sheriff, obviously, but isn't he running for something else? You guys let me know in the chat. Let me see. Actually, let me check the chat. You guys know? What is Chad Bianco running for? Anything? Pete Grabber, nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Nice to see you. Glad you're here. I'm not doing the mask thing ever again. I agree with you. Wally World, late. You are never late. The wizard arrives precisely when he intends to. I missed the Scarlet cameo. You did. You did, buddy. You want to say hi to her again? No, she's over laying down in front of the heater. She's quite comfy right now. Danger. Nice to see you, man, on a Sunday. How rare, a rare appearance from my friend Lonnie. All right, let's keep going here. So, Sheriff Chad Bianco, let's see what he has to say on this and get some more information on the would-be assassin.
But we have his name as Vem, V-E-M, Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R, and his birth date is 10/26 of 1974. And the reason why I gave it to you like that is I will explain later. He approached the outside perimeter, gave all indications that he belonged there, that he was a participant that was allowed to get into VIP and to and a press corps, and so he was allowed through that outer perimeter. As he got to the inside perimeter, where deputies were conducting obviously a more thorough.
Okay, so my mistake. This wasn't some random checkpoint on the streets. This was a checkpoint to get into the rally. Apparently he had some sort of press credentials. So, okay. All right. Seems like they had reason to search him because, they're doing their jobs, keeping the rally safe. So, okay, let's keep going.
Evaluation of the vehicles that were coming in, there were many irregularities that popped up. The deputy noticed that the interior of the vehicle was in quite disarray. The vehicle had an obviously fake license plate, and that prompted further investigation from our deputy into why the person was there and what he was doing. During that investigation, the deputy eventually found multiple passports with multiple names, multiple driver's license with different names. The vehicle was unregistered, and the license plate was what we in law enforcement would recognize as one that is homemade and indicative of a group of individuals that claim to be sovereign citizens. And assuming the deputy assumes that he was part of that identifying group. So during the investigation, obviously those identification documents were found, in addition to a loaded handgun and a shotgun. Obviously, this was before the former president arrived. The person was taken into custody. He was eventually booked into jail on those charges, and eventually he was released. He will have to further his court case in the future. Right now, we are actively engaged in working with Secret Service and the FBI to ensure that this person is followed up on and all of the information that they can gather. I can tell you that from my perspective, from a state law enforcement agency's perspective, the firearms charges is what we arrested him for and booked him on. Anything further will come from the federal government, and quite frankly, I don't know if we will be a part of that. We will certainly be a part of that investigation and cooperating with them, but those charges, if any, will come from them. They will not come from us.
Huh.
With that being said, is there any question?
Okay. All right. So weird. Yeah, just weird. Okay. Now, what makes it even weirder to me is you guys know Mindy M.F. Robinson at iHeartMindy on the old X platform there. She's got a giant account. She's got 395,000 followers. Independent journalist, hidden history buff, anti-government libertarian, the host of Conspiracy Truths on America Happens. So, she's got some clout. Well, she has some things to say on this. And this is what I found quite interesting. So this is from Mindy M.F. Robinson, again, at iHeartMindy, one word, on the X platform. She says, the man they just arrested for supposedly trying to kill Trump, and trying to kill is in quotes, the man they just arrested for supposedly trying to kill Trump in Coachella is my good friend and business partner for America Happens, Vem Miller. So, okay, she's putting herself out there. I mean, that's okay. Vem had just exposed a huge deep state cover-up involving the feds and the Bundy Ranch scandal. So I firmly believe this is you guys remember the Bundy Ranch scandal? Wasn't that up in Oregon? this was back in like, geez, I'm pretty sure this was back in like 2016, 2015, something like that. And they had like a standoff with the feds over government land or their, I don't even remember. That was you guys, I'm vague on the Bundy schedule. Is that right though? It was up there in Oregon, I believe. So she says, Vem had just exposed a huge deep state cover-up involving the feds and the Bundy Ranch scandal. So I firmly believe this is 100% some kind of setup in retribution for exposing it. That or Trump's security team is a bunch of dipshits trying to make up for how badly they failed in Pennsylvania with whatever kind of win they can get, fake or not. Okay, but this doesn't explain why he tried to get into the rally with weapons and had fake plates on his car. So, okay. There isn't a universe his intention was to kill Trump. I think she's trying to say, like, there isn't a universe that exists where his intention was trying to kill Trump. He's worked too hard in this movement to expose the deep state and all the people against him. If he had guns in the car that were illegal, whoop-de-fucking-do, as a pro-2A advocate, ask me if you give a shit about a good guy with a gun in an unsafe shithole like California. Okay, fair point. It doesn't even make sense why his passes would be fake either when they both usually invited us as media to things. Okay, it doesn't make sense that his passes were fake. And I'd love to see exactly what this threat was he made about Trump, because I don't believe he said it. I just know it's going to be the most misconstrued bullshit thing ever when I finally hear, assuming they even ever tell us. This is an anti-deep state documentary this is an anti-deep state documentary we did that they're probably targeting him for, where we actually suspected they killed our whistleblower over it. It's that damning to the illegitimate government. Okay, she posts a link on Rumble here. We were also working on a sequel to my Las Vegas shooting cover-up documentary as well, which might be another reason why someone would target him for this. Either way, I stand by Vem Miller, and we'll get to the bottom of this bullshit. Watch me. Okay. And she took a screenshot from an account called Culture War, and it says, "I want to kill the president." Vem Miller has that in quotation marks. Another assassination attempt thwarted by Riverside County Police at Trump's Coachella rally. Vem Miller had an illegally obtained shotgun. Okay, what does that mean? Loaded handgun and fake VIP passes. Look how close he gets to everyone. He could have taken anyone out if he wanted. Okay, so this is just a weird situation, and I'm not quite sure what to make of it. But I mean, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat here, because this whole thing seems freaking weird. Like, what the heck is going on? Wally World, yes, I know Mindy. Wally World over on YouTube. Jackie Ritako. Ritako, how do I say it pronouncedly? Can you spell it out phonetically for me so I don't mispronounce it? Jackie over on X, I just saw this. Is it real? I can't click on links in the chat there, Jackie. I apologize. But you know what? I'm planning on reading your write-up on California being the tip of the spear for illegal immigration. I have that actually pulled up, and I'm planning on reading it here tonight. Let's see. I did it right? Wow, that's a first. Ritako, right? Jackie Ritako? Okay. All right, cool. All right, got it right. All right. Well, so yeah, that's the deal. They I don't know what to believe here. I don't know. More information will come out. I would follow Mindy to see what her updates are on this, because I'm very curious what she she went out on a pretty big limb there, saying that I'm friends with the would-be assassin. You know, it's a pretty big deal. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. So we'll keep going here. Danger. CARB just voted to, yeah, I got that pulled up too. CARB just voted to raise gas prices 60 cents November 8th. CARB is what? CARB is a non-elected government body. Yeah. California Air Reduction Board. Yeah. It's and freaking Gavin Newsom will just keep blaming big oil, saying big oil's making gas so expensive, when I mean there's a reason Chevron just moved out of San Ramon to Texas. And why is it that they're only making our gas price so expensive? If it's, they sell oil to everybody, why is it only our gas prices? All right, anyway, let's keep going here, folks, because we got a ton to get into. So this is we got a lot. So that is funny. I didn't even realize it, but the next thing that I want to get into, the first post is from Mindy MF Robinson. That's funny. I didn't even plan on it, but you know what? Am I following her? I need to follow her. I think she's a Californian. Okay, just followed her. That is funny. So, okay, this is what the show is actually supposed to be about, and this is what I was going to lead off with, but I didn't. Peak grabber. Jackie, way to get the FBI's attention to be a friend. Yeah, it's how do we allow non-elected anything to have power in California? It's an excellent question, Peak. Thanks for the shout out about my article on immigration. I also just took Gavin and company to the woodshed in my latest article. He has driven my family out of California to Tennessee. It's personal now. Tennessee's nice, though. My buddy Roscoe moved to Tennessee. He loves it out there. I can't handle the humidity. Couldn't do it. Could not freaking do it. I went out there and visited him. All right, let's keep going. I want to talk about the mask mandates that they're bringing back here in California because, as many of you know, that is sort of a bit of a hot button issue for me, the whole mask mandates thing, because, well, I some of you might be new here, but I posted my original video that went banana balls when I got fired for refusing to wear a mask on a job site, a construction site that was a house in Pacific Heights, San Francisco. And this was a job site that was all studded out. Nobody's living there. It was, no sheetrocks up, plumbing still being done, electrical still being done. We were doing the low voltage stuff. And I was out there for 3 months, no mask mandate, no nothing. And all of a sudden I came back to do like a half-day job because they decided to move some stuff around, and they decided to have a mask mandate all of a sudden. And the guy I was working with hands me a mask, and he says, they got a mask mandate here now. And I just said, I will not comply. And like as a joke, but serious. And the freaking foreman comes running around the corner all pissed off and starts going off on me about how in San Francisco, if you get 3 positive COVID cases, then they shut down your job site. And we've already had one, it goes off on this big long thing. And I said, okay, what does that have to do with me wearing a mask? And that set him off. He called my project manager, who called my boss, got kicked off the job site. The next day I got fired. I made a video about it, went viral, ended up on Tucker Carlson, Owen Schroyer, OAN, a bunch of other podcasts. And that's how things sort of blew up for me. And, it was cool because stuff went viral, but like, once you end up on Tucker Carlson talking about how you're anti-COVID anything in the Bay Area, well, the thing that happened for me, where I've never had problems finding work in my field before. I'm an audio video guy, both residential and commercial. I've been doing it 18 years. So I bounce back and forth between residential and commercial, but it's sort of a niche industry, audio video. It's not a ton of people are in that industry. And when you've been doing it for a really long time and you're good at it and you know your stuff, you get offered jobs like weekly almost. People are recruiting you, trying to get you to come to their company. It was never hard for me to find a company to work for. Well, after I went on Tucker, everywhere I applied for, I would get an interview and they would ghost me every single time. Every single time. This went on for like a year. It was horrible. I decided to run for state senate. I created a podcast. I started trying to do all these other things, and I survived. I barely scraped by for like a year. And go figure, another company that I applied at had a phone interview, went really well, and then they didn't contact me for a couple of weeks. And I just figured the same thing's going to happen. Then all of a sudden they hit me up out of the blue, and they were like, yeah, we want to do a video conference interview with you. And I did. And then I had an in-person interview. And then they offered me a job. And that's where I'm at now. And I love it. It's a great company. People I work with are awesome. It's very demanding. The work I'm doing is very demanding, but now they're bringing back the mask mandate. It's only for hospitals and stuff like that, but you know how it goes. As soon as they bring it into hospitals, retirement homes, other medical environments is what they say. It's a couple of weeks max, and it's going to be any place of public gathering. They'll say that it's going to be reinstated if people comply. It's coming back. For whatever reason, they're saying because it's an uptick of flu and COVID is what they are saying. When have we ever had mask mandates over flu? So I'm immediately like, you got to be kidding me. Is this going to happen again? Because I'm not going to wear a mask, you guys. I'm not going to do it. And if I lose my job, it's going to get very, very difficult for me again. Very difficult. And I don't know if I'll make it this time. I really don't. So this happening again after I've gotten pretty settled with this new company and things are good. I like it. Getting paid well. If I lose this again, I mean, and I can't make it, that might be it for my fight in California. I might have to just get out of here. Like many of you guys know, that is what I feel is my purpose, is to save California. Is not me personally, but to help in this fight to save California, because there's people way more important than me fighting this fight. Tons of people. And I want to be part of that. I want to do everything I can to save California, turn the state around, because this is the most amazing state in the United States. It's the most beautiful state. It's got the best agriculture, the best geography, the best climate. What's horrible about California is the government and the policies and what they have led to, what all of these policies have led to. And they've rigged the elections, and it's a Democrat supermajority. It's a one-party state. And it has destroyed a lot of what makes California amazing. I said in a post earlier that in my lifetime, it's gone from the state that everyone wanted to be. You know, I was a kid during the Silicon Valley tech boom, during the .com boom, and I was here for the crash. My dad lost everything during the .com crash, and I've been here when everybody wanted to be in California, when California was the place to be in the late 80s, early 90s. And in my lifetime, it's gone from the place that everybody wants to be to the place that the middle class can no longer make it, to where we're the laughing stock of the world because of things that we're doing. And I genuinely feel that if California falls, then the entire United States falls. Look at all of the worst politicians that have huge impact on federal policies, on policies that affect all of America. Where they come from? California. So many of them. I mean, look who's running for president right now. Kamala Harris, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Scott Wiener. Well, he's a state senator, but you guys get my point. So many that Maxine Waters, there's so many that I could just rattle off the top of my head that are just horrible, horrible politicians. And somehow they make their ways to the top levels of the federal government. And what happens in California is like a trial for the rest of the country. And what happens here, ultimately, 5-10 years later, cascades itself out through the rest of the country. California must be saved. And I cannot leave this place. This is my home. I cannot be forced out of this place. So anyway, that's my tangent on masks. But yeah, let's watch this quick clip. Mindy MF Robinson, California is reinstating mask mandates. It's honestly your fault if you put up with this shit again. she's 100% right. So here, let's watch this.
Mandates are coming back to several Bay Area counties. Health officials have issued orders requiring face masks to be worn in hospitals, skilled nursing facilities, and other healthcare facilities. This order goes into effect starting November 1 until either the end of March or April 2025. Now, the counties requiring masks right now are Alameda, Contra Costa, Santa Clara, San Mateo, and Napa County.
Oh, look at that. Tons of counties that I work in. So let's see. Let's see, what does the article say? So this is from it's from American Faith, and they, I could have pulled up any article, but this is just the first one I came across. So let's see what this article has to say about it. I mean, you just heard in the video, they're bringing it back for like medical establishments. So it says, this is California Bay Area issues limited mask mandate. So, San Francisco County, San Mateo, Santa Clara, Alameda, all the counties around the Bay. And okay, so here's what American Faith has to say about this. This is an article by, is your name really not on here? I guess the author's name isn't on this article. California's Bay Area has reissued a limited mask mandate as COVID-19 and flu cases are rising. This mandate reportedly requires masks to be worn in skilled nursing facilities, hospitals, and other healthcare facilities. So I'm going to be making a doctor's appointment. And figuring out a way to hide my camera, and I'm going to cause a scene. I'm going to go in there, refuse to wear a mask, talk about I'm paying for insurance, you're refusing to see me, all that. I'm going to cause a scene. I'm going to be that guy, and we're going to see what happens. So I greatly request that all of you make doctor's appointments and refuse to wear a mask, even if you don't need an appointment. Sounds like it's time for a checkup, folks. Let's go to the doctors and see if they are going to be the shitbags that they were before and force everyone to wear masks for no reason. I mean, remember, it doesn't qualify what masks are. It doesn't say everybody has to wear an N95, which also are not effective against coronaviruses. It used to say it right there on the box before COVID. Part of the job that I have is we had N95s on our masks or on our vans and respirators because we had to crawl under houses a lot. So the thing that we were mainly worried about was asbestos and rat pee, because you can get really sick from rat pee. And there are lots of rats under houses. I've been crawling around under houses since the early 2000s, mid 2000s. And the entire time it was like N95s, that they don't do anything against viruses. I use this analogy all the time. It's like standing behind a chain link fence and hoping that the guy on the other side that's shooting a shotgun at you, the chain link fence is going to protect the buckshot coming at you. The particles are so freaking small, the virus particles, you guys get what I'm saying. I mean, if you wear an N95, they have to fit perfectly around your face. You have to be clean shaven. Like there's people that have faces like I dated a respiratory therapist, and she couldn't wear N95s because her face was too small, is what she would say. She said even the smallest N95s don't fit her face. So they had to give her what's called a capper, which is like one of those things where it's got like a pack that you wear around your belt with a hose leading to it, and it goes around your entire head, and it seals like around your jaw and like your cheeks and all that stuff. She had to wear one of those because N95s they didn't fit her face. Anyway, they're not mandating those. Because like, if anything, there might be an argument to be made. It'd be a shitty, terrible argument that N95s might help. Maybe you could make that argument, even though it's a shitty argument and it's not true. But that's not what they're requiring. They're requiring paper masks, a bandana, a t-shirt, whatever, pantyhose. And nobody will say anything as long as you got something on your face, a freaking coffee cup. Like, that's how ridiculous this whole thing was. And nobody in their right mind can think that those paper masks that you can buy at 7-Eleven or whatever, that are made by God knows who, that have big old gaps on the side, that you're pulling down 50,000 times a day, scratching your nose. And, that's another thing too. It's making you touch your face more, which exposes you to more bullshit. And they get built up with bacteria, all sorts of crap. Nobody in their right mind thinks that those paper masks actually reduce the spread of coronaviruses. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So if you don't think that masks do anything, and you shouldn't because they don't do anything, if you don't think that masks do anything and you put on a mask to appease the government or people, you don't want to have conflict, all that kind of shit, you're a bitch, you're a pussy, and you're a coward. You should not give in to this bullshit. That is the only reason this shit was allowed to go as far as it did. It's because people just did shit and they knew that it was for optics. It was just a show, but they did it anyway because they didn't want to have conflict. They didn't want to have an argument at the grocery store. Fuck them. All of them. Do not put up with this bullshit. It may seem like just a little thing. It's not a little thing. This is a test of your will. It's a will you comply with these nonsense orders just because we said so. Do not be a sheep. Do not comply with this fucking nonsense. I can't believe they're pulling this shit again. They say, oh, well, it's a hospital environment. Paper masks. Again, paper masks. They're not doing anything. A bandana. That's sure, maybe you can make a shitty argument that N95s can reduce the spread of COVID, even though they can't. But that's not what they're requiring. They're not requiring respirators. They're not requiring cappers. They're requiring anything over your face. If you're still wearing masks, you're ugly or you're a coward. That's it. That's all I have to say about that. But here, like this is from Dr. Sassoni, holistic primary care, PhD, clinical nutrition author. Okay, so holistic primary care. Are you really a doctor? Are you a Joe Biden doctor? Anyway, this is a good video though. So I'm not sure if he's a Joe Biden doctor, but we're going to watch it anyway. So this is a video that shows the size of things that get through masks. So just take a look here. There it is. So look at all of the things that are bigger than COVID. It's insane. It doesn't stop viruses. N95s, neither. None of them. They don't stop freaking viruses. So there's only two things smaller than the coronavirus, the polio virus and rhinovirus. Those are the only two things smaller, only two viruses smaller. That is funny. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of it. That's it with the mask bullshit. But I have all sorts of California stuff that I want to get into. So yeah, enough with the masks, but you guys get my point. Do not comply with this bullshit. Even if you make a doctor's appointment and they demand you wear it, walk out, cause a scene, whatever. Do not comply. Oh, but my mom has to go. Like, oh, but I need this screening, whatever. Okay, you do you, but I'm going to talk shit. If you have to go and get your treatment, I mean, I'm not going to tell anybody to not get medical care, especially if you need it and your life's dependent on it. But if it's something that you could go without, cause a scene and make content about it and put it on the internet and show, like, since I refuse to wear a mask, they are going to deprive me of this. They're going to deprive me of that, as long as it's not putting your life in danger. But this shit pisses me off. The whole mask thing absolutely pisses me off. So let's move on. Let's move on from the mask stuff. There's more California stuff, though. So it's from Politico. California outlaws local voter ID rules. So you guys heard about this, right? The legislation is a direct response to conservative Orange County's city to require voter ID at the polls. So there's counties that are pushing back against this. So they made a statewide law that is illegal to ask for ID. Why? Like, what logical reason could you have behind requiring somebody to show ID to vote? You have to show ID for everything. Absolutely everything. You want to get a hotel? Show your ID. You want to get alcohol? Show your ID. You want to get a job? You got to show your ID to get a job. You got to show your ID to get on an airplane. You got to show your ID to purchase a firearm. Everything. You got to show your ID. So if the logic is you're disenfranchising people from voting by making them show an ID, why aren't you disenfranchising them from everything else that requires ID? Why not make it so you don't need an ID to get on an airplane? Why not make it so you don't need an ID to book a hotel? Make it illegal, California government. Isn't that the logic behind all of this? It's disenfranchising people. It's bullshit. Everyone knows it's bullshit. It's election rigging is what it is. Not requiring ID to vote is election rigging. And everyone gets a mail-in ballot. Those two things together, California elections are over. They're done. They're over with. I mean, the amount of fraud that would need to be overcame in order for California to flip red or for Republicans to win, they're going to have to get like 75% of the vote, because you can only cheat so much before it's like just completely proven that the elections are rigged, even though everybody already knows California elections are rigged, except for people in the Branch Covidian cult. Okay, let's continue. So this is from Politico. Sacramento, California. Local governments in California will be barred from establishing local laws that require residents to present identification to vote in elections under a new law signed by Governor Gavin Newsom. How about that? The legislation from Senator Dave Min, an Orange County Democrat running for Republican, Katie Porter's open house seat, is a direct response to a controversial ballot measure approved this year by voters in Huntington Beach, requiring people to show photo ID at the polls. It will take effect on January 1st. On January 1st? Isn't that after the election, though? California is one of 14 states that does not require voter ID at the polls, according to National Conference of State Legislators. I wonder how many of those are swing states. The Republican-led city, whose leaders often tussle with Sacramento Democrats, has maintained that its status as a charter city gives it home rule over election administrations. But Attorney General Rob Bonta, the horrible piece of shit Rob Bonta, and Secretary of State Shirley Weber aren't buying it. The officials sued Huntington Beach in April to invalidate the law, arguing it interferes with state voting rights protections. The right to freely cast your vote is the foundation of our democracy, and Huntington Beach's voter ID policy flies in the face of this principle, Bonta said at an April statement regarding the lawsuit. You know what's funny? These are the same people that want everyone on the internet to have to prove who they are and show ID in order to use the internet, because they say there's too many people spreading misinformation. So they want to require you to use ID on the internet. In order to get my check mark or stay monetized on Twitter, I had to show my ID. Same thing with YouTube. To be able to put links in my YouTube description, to put actual like hyperlinks in there, had to send them my ID. All of this stuff. But you don't have to do it to vote. Okay. Min's legislation is one of nearly half a dozen bills introduced by Democrat state lawmakers this past year, looking to close legal gray areas in state election laws. The changes aim to prevent Huntington Beach, Shasta County, and other conservative local governments from establishing election policies that are often driven by suspicion of voter fraud. So conservative counties. Who does this benefit? Obviously, so conservatives want you to show ID. Democrats don't. Elections are more secure when you show ID. Democrats don't want that. Shit's insane. Ultra-conservative local officials in Shasta County, look at how they poisoned the well there. Ultra-conservative local officials in Shasta County unsuccessfully attempted to dump electronic voting machines last year. That too. They wanted to hand count all their ballots. I forgot about that. They outlawed hand counting ballots. I forgot about that. California elections are rigged in so many ways that I can't even keep track. You guys know that too, right? California outlawed hand counting ballots. They give you 30 days before the election to vote, and then they have 30 days after the election to count the votes. And watch the night of the election, California is going to call they're going to call it after like 2 hours. There's just California elections should be viewed as like Soviet era elections were viewed. It's just a show trial. That's all this is. California elections are predetermined. They're the most rigged elections in the country, and they are a joke. And think about how many electoral votes we have. How many do we have? What is it? Is it 38? I'm tripping probably. I think it's a lot. We're the most populated state. We have the most electoral votes, I believe. And those are just thrown away. It's just like, take those electoral votes out of the equation. Like, the entire system is rigged just in that way, to where Republicans cannot count on any electoral votes from California because California elections are so rigged. So they just so they're starting behind the starting line already. It's freaking insane. Ultra conservative local officials in Shasta County unsuccessfully attempted to dump electronic voting machines last year, citing baseless concerns of voter fraud. Baseless. Democrats used to talk about how those voting machines are unreliable and they can be hacked into. Their arguments mimicked claims about voting machines made by former President Donald Trump following the 2020 presidential election. Oh, these scumbags, these absolute scumbags. All right, let me catch up with the chat here. You guys are talking. You guys are talking a lot here. Let's see. Man, we go way back. Schools will be next, Wally World. Yeah, for the mask mandates, you're probably right. You're probably right. Like the UC system. Yeah, you're probably right there. If you were here in the 80s and 90s, you were in the best place on earth. I agree. The 90s were freaking awesome. Pete Grabber, Northside, I totally agree. Yep, 80s and 90s were freaking awesome in California. Even though I was born in 83, so 90s is when I grew up. I got to California in 1974. It was amazing. The capture of the university professors by the Marxists was the start of the decline in the mid-90s. Yep, Yuri Bezmenov talks about that. Subversion. David Sullivan, maybe move away from Santa Cruz. I love it here, man. I freaking love it here. It's like Mike Cernovich made a point that I'm going to bring up a little bit later. But yeah, I may be surrounded by freaking libtards, but I'm also surrounded by redwood trees. I got the beach 6 miles from me. I got, I'm a trail runner. I'm in trail running heaven. And it stays relatively cool here compared to many other parts of the state. Like, I would love to move out to Auburn. I don't know if I can handle that heat. It is freaking hot out there. David Sullivan, push the limits. The Meta Ray bans are pretty good. I don't get it. I think that's a joke about Ray Bans and looking cool. Wear a Halloween mask. A Joe Biden. That's good. That's not a bad idea. David Sullivan over on X. Get the BioVisar. I don't know what that means. David Sullivan on X posted a link. Danger over on YouTube. They also don't mention that the masks also make you breathe in bacteria from your mouth. That would otherwise be expelled out. Yeah, I know. Your breath gets all nasty and your mouth tastes like ass. Yeah, it's the worst. Not that I know what ass tastes like, you guys. The totalitarian government has clearly hurt the mentally fragile. This is Jackie Rataco over on Twitter. The totalitarian government has clearly hurt the mentally fragile. They will comply. Many people never stopped wearing them alone in their cars, convinced they are protecting themselves and others. Extremely sad. It's all a good point. Jackie over on X. Masks a good place to start to be ungovernable. Yeah, it is. It's easy enough to do. Just don't put a fucking face diaper on your face. Jackie, my city, Huntington Beach. Oh, you're in Huntington Beach. Okay. So, man, I lived out in Upland for a while, and I used to drive all the way out there to take my dog to that dog beach, that Huntington Beach dog beach. Is it still there? Is that still a dog beach? My dogs loved it there. My freaking jerk-ass roommate threw my lab in the ocean when she was still a puppy, and she was scared of water ever since. A lab scared of water. Like, how sad is that? My dick-ass roommate. But I loved it out there. I loved Orange County. I still love Orange County. I was just out in where was I in Orange County? I was out there for the Libertarian Convention. Where was that? Was it Anaheim? I think it was Anaheim. I used to be a bouncer at a strip club in Anaheim called California Girls. Worst job of my life. Pete Grabber over on Rumble. No local laws means no local taxes to me. David Sullivan over on X. I think much of the fraud comes with the machines they push against hand counting in Shasta County was a huge mistake. Was huge by the state. Yeah. Jackie, the same people that want you to have a vaccine passport don't want you to have a voter ID. Another really good point. California elections have been rigged starting in 1995 with driver's licenses for illegal immigrants, then followed by the motor voter registration and a line voter registration with no verification. I'm sure you talk about all this in your article. Wally World, Michael, you are older than JD Vance. Shut up, Wally, you jerk. I feel younger than him, I think. Well, I don't know how young he feels, but man, why you gotta hit me below the belt there, bruh? Jackie, yes, Dog Beach rocks. Okay, cool. That place is still in Anaheim. The California girls. Oh, that job was awful. Absolutely awful. What's funny too is there was a freaking dancer there she would go up on stage and do her thing, and then she would come down and sit at the bar and she would study because she was going to be an FBI agent. Like that was like wild ass job. That job that I had. Yep. Worst job I ever had. Okay, let's keep going here. So yeah, voter ID illegal. Okay, so let's go to another article. This is from CBS. What is this? CBS 7 San Diego. UC San Diego begins requiring climate change course to graduate in 2008. So in order to get your diploma that you paid for and studied for years to pass classes and studied your ass off, well, you got to be indoctrinated into the climate change ideology in order to get your diploma. So incoming first-year students at UC San Diego have new graduation requirements: the ability to understand and address climate change. The ability to understand and address climate change, meaning you can't have a dissenting viewpoint on it. You can't say something as moderately critical of it. Like you can't say anything as mild as, yeah, sure, climate change may be happening, but I don't think man-made climate change is to the degree that government officials say it is. And I haven't seen evidence of that, of human caused climate change. It may be happening, but the level in which humans are contributing to climate change, that I think is still debatable. If you say that, unacceptable view. School officials said the requirement would be the first such one at a major public university. This means that approximately 7,000 students in the class of 2028 will need to take one of 40 courses available to satisfy the requirement. I hope one of those courses is called Climate Change is a Hoax. A variety of majors have courses in the course catalog. In the course catalog that satisfy the obligation, including the obvious like environmental studies, but also the possibly overlooked like economics, energy economics, history, China since 1878, and the Anthropocene, the Great Acceleration, the visual arts, bending curve, blah, 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 a bunch of different freaking classes they can take. One might not be surprised to learn that the Scripps Institution of Oceanography has the most offerings with 11, including natural disasters, ice, and the climate system, and life of climate on Earth. What's funny is I took oceanography when I was in college, and climate change was mentioned like none, minimally. This is back in like 2003 at San Jose City College. Took an oceanography course. We learned about the continents and like fault boundaries and shit. Like I don't remember talking about climate change at all. Whether undergraduates are majoring in STEM, the humanities, arts, social sciences, or any other field, this requirement will equip them with a strong understanding of climate change and how they can contribute to meaningful solutions, said UCSD Chancellor Pradeep Kasola in a new release posted last week by the university. Jane Terrain's climate change education requirement was named for a professor at the Scripps Institution who died in 2022 after she unexpectedly fell ill, according to the university. 2022, huh? Unexpectedly fell ill? Weird. What happened right before that? During her 2 decades at UCSD, She created several programs designed to educate students in the geosciences, including environmental systems programs and climate change, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I don't care. In 2011, the school implemented a diversity, equity, and inclusion requirement that at least in part provided a framework for new climate change course mandate. Oh, how about that? Buried that at the bottom, didn't you? In 2011, all the way back in 2011, you guys, 2011, the school implemented a diversity, equity, and inclusion requirement. Man, DEI, they've been beating the DEI drum for almost 15 years now. This is freaking insane. Well, 13 years. That's insane to me. The climate requirement incentivizes and encourages faculty to integrate climate change education into their upper division courses and thus deepens the curriculum by focusing on what students can actually do about climate change from their disciplines. Muir College Provost Wayne Yang is quoted in the school's new release on the requirements. Importantly, it treats climate change as an interdisciplinary issue. Right, because the government will give you funding if you talk about like climate change and how it affects feminism and all that crap. Like that's how they get to say, that's how they can make the statement, all scientists agree. There's a scientific consensus that man-made climate change is destroying the planet. Why is there a consensus? Because scientists don't get funding if they don't say, or they're enticed to talk about climate change because they will get funding if they somehow mix in climate change into their gender studies freaking article that they're writing. Like, it's insane how much money they throw around to get people to just throw climate change bullshit into their papers. I need to get Michael Hogan on here. He's become a buddy of mine, and yeah, he's a scientist, and he's really opened my eyes to a lot of the things that are taking place. Officials at the school said efforts were undertaken to align climate change requirements in such a way that it would not add to a student's workload. Transfer students will be encouraged to take one of the classes, but they will not be compulsory. Huh, that's funny. Okay, so if you go to a junior college for 2 years and then go there, you don't have to take it. That's funny. Okay, well, don't go to UC San Diego. Yeah, I would check that off your list. Unreal. Unfreaking real. Okay, let's keep going, checking on the chat here. How's everybody doing? You guys doing good? Hope everybody's well. Let's see. Wally, he was born in 84. I was also born in late 83. I was born in October of 83. Jackie over on X. You also must be indoctrinated into the ethnic studies agenda is also required. I studied this curriculum in depth. It is fully based on CRT ideology. That's awful. Climate change is a made-up ideology. When Wally over on YouTube, when I was in college, we were worried about the coming of the ice age. Yeah, it's funny how that changes, huh? It's kind of like how, you know, nobody should use paper bags anymore. Like back when I was a kid, it was like, oh, they're destroying all the trees. Use plastic bags instead. And now it's like plastic bags are killing the environment. Use paper bags instead. It's all a joke. Keep going here. All right. Hope everybody's doing well. If you haven't already, please give the show a like, a share, all that stuff. Subscribe on all the platforms. It greatly helps the show grow. Okay, let's keep going. So this is from Ashley Zavala. She is a journalist over at, she's a Capitol correspondent at KCRA News, CCA, California, Secretary Press Club. So she says, just in, Gavin Newsom vetoes SB 227, which would have required EDD, that's the Employment Development Department, that's unemployment, to come up with plans to provide unemployment benefits to undocumented people. So that was an actual bill that landed on Newsom's desk. It passed the Assembly, it passed the Senate, and it got to Newsom's desk. They wanted to give unemployment benefits to illegal immigrants. In his veto message, he points to budget, timeline, and other logistics issues for the rejection. So he doesn't point to the fact that they're not United States citizens. He doesn't point to that. He points to we can't afford it and timeline, logistics, all that crap. I'm not going to read his Office of the Governor's statement because it's just going to be a bunch of bullshit mumbo jumbo that I don't feel like talking about because it's just going to trigger me. And I got way more things that I need to cover. Okay, so let's go. This is from Bay Area State of Mind. He says, Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao says criminals will be caught. What she doesn't mention is that they will be released an hour later, which is true. This is very, very true.
To send a strong message that if you are thinking to commit crimes in the city of Oakland, that you will be caught. Because we are not going to allow for our residents and our businesses to feel unsafe in our communities, to walk to the grocery store, to walk to their vehicles. And so this is a part of that comprehensive plan. On the same token, it is true. In my budget, we will be investing in the Department of Children, Youth, and Families, because why not prevent crimes from happening before it happens? In carceral consequences, obviously, we don't have the authority as the city of Oakland to charge and to give those consequences in a set manner. That is up to the judge and through the judicial system.
Oh, you mean Pamela Price, the DA that's getting recalled, just like you? So the mayor of Oakland and the Alameda County District Attorney are both getting recalled at the same time. And Oakland is a fucking nightmare right now. And nobody feels safe in Oakland. I mean, there's shootings like every freaking night out in Oakland. Oakland is wild. Oakland is absolutely wild. I was working out there for several months at the Henry J. Kaiser building, is where I was working at the time, right across the street from Laney College on 10th Street. And the shit that I would see driving back to Highway 880 to come all the way back to Santa Cruz. Yes, I was commuting there every day. I would drive past the 12th Street slum. And you guys have seen that. Those videos have gone viral. It's just, they just make houses out of whatever discarded materials they can find. Pallets, scrap, plywood, plastic, all sorts of random shit. They just make houses and they live in them, and they've created like a little village, and the city just lets it happen. But, you know, Sheng Tao's talking about how she's going to be tough on crime.
But it's not just the carceral consequences. It's also, like we talked about, the very programmings, the mentorship. We all know that, you know, people can change. People can change, and they can choose different options if there are more options to be picked from. And so that's what we're trying to do as well, too, in the city of Oakland. However, again, it will be up to the district attorney's office and the judge to.
Oh, it's the district attorney. Okay. Well, you guys are both getting recalled at the same time. So let's go over to KTVU Fox 2. And the title of this one is All Alameda County Police Unions Favor District Attorney Price's Recall. Oh, Oakland is Oakland's beautiful, by the way. Oakland has some of the best climate in the Bay Area. Oakland's a lot like Santa Cruz in that regard, even though Santa Cruz isn't technically in the Bay Area. But it's, you know, it's close enough to the water where you get that nice breeze. It stays in the 70s where everywhere else is like in the 90s. Oakland's beautiful. They got redwood trees out there, especially like Upper Oakland, Berkeley Hills, Oakland Hills. Lake Merritt my buddy used to live right next to Lake Merritt. We'd go to off the grid nights, just walk around, you know, MacArthur. It used to be nice. Oakland's always had like the seedy underbelly, but it is a million times worse than it used to be when I was a kid. They've lost everything. They lost the Warriors. They lost the Raiders. They lost the Oakland A's. The Coliseum deal looks like it's falling through. They even lost In-N-Out Burger. Like, Oakland is a shit show right now.
Alameda County voters will decide if they want to recall District Attorney Pamela Price. More than a dozen Alameda County police unions went on the record to support the recall. As KTVU's Bailey O'Carroll reports, this comes just days after Congressman Eric Swalwell. It will be when Alameda County voters will decide if they want to recall District Attorney Pamela Price. More than a dozen Alameda County police unions went on the record to support the recall. As KTVU's Bailey O'Carroll reports, this comes just days after Congressman Eric Swalwell announced his support for the recall.
Recall Price. Recall Price. Recall Price.
Less than a week after Congressman Eric Swalwell announced his support of recalling Alameda County District.
Even Swalwell is calling for Pamela Price to be recalled. Man, everyone's getting thrown under the bus right now. Nobody is backing Sheng Tao. Nobody is backing Pamela Price. The Soros DA, just like Chesa Boudin over in San Francisco, who was replaced by Brooke Jenkins, who, I mean, Brooke Jenkins has been a little bit better than Chesa Boudin, but she's bowing down to all the same Democrat elites that Chesa Boudin bowed down to. You know, she has nothing but good things to say about London Breed and freaking Gavin Newsom. It's so disappointing. But again, Soros DAs, the freaking Satan himself.
Attorney Pamela Price. On Saturday, all of the county's police unions announced they're also in favor of ousting her. Though there were no union members available to speak with the media, community members were there.
Including Alameda Police Officer Association, Albany, Berkeley, and also the Alameda County, the Deputy Sheriff's Association of Alameda County, Emeryville, Fremont, Haywood, Livermore, Newark, Oakland, Piedmont, Pleasanton, San Leandro, and Union City.
In a statement, Ian Fry, San Leandro Police Officer Association president, said it is DA Price's obligation and sworn oath to defend victims of crime, to seek justice on their behalf, and to make it clear to those who continue to victimize our citizens that they will be held accountable for their actions. Price was elected on a platform of reforming the criminal justice system, but those in attendance, many of whom voted for Price, echoed the message that she's taken things too far.
Reforming is not letting people that are not being held accountable put back on the street. It's not safe for them, and it's not safe for the community. It's re-traumatizing the victims. Fixing the system is one thing, but destroying the system is another.
At times, Price has declined to charge the most severe gun enhancements that had been lodged by her predecessors. Virginia Nishida, the widow of Kevin Nishida, who was shot and killed while working as a security guard for a news crew, said Price had made her feel not supported.
The DAs are there to give us justice for our loved one that has been senselessly murdered, like my husband.
Oakland, by the way, defunded their police department, and they are running a skeleton crew over there. They don't have nearly enough police officers to tamp down the madness that is Oakland, California.
And I haven't been getting that. It's been unsupportive. It's been sometimes disrespectful in the courtroom. So I now think it's because of Pamela Price.
Attendees say they want to encourage everyone to get out and vote on November 5th. In Emeryville, I'm Bailey O'Carroll, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
We reached out to Pamela Price's office for a response to today's news conference, but did not hear back.
Oh, they didn't hear back. What a shocker. Crazy. Super crazy. All right, let's keep going here, folks. Let me see. I want to make sure this video doesn't play again. So, in order to do that, I'm going to close it. Okay. All right. So, Eric Swalwell. Freaking farting Eric Swalwell. Freaking Fang CCP Chai CCP spy fucker is even speaking out against Pamela Price. Like, you know it's bad when Swalwell, the freaking douchebag deep state puppet that he is speaking out against Pamela Price. Let's see. Let's keep going here. Let me check on the chat. Jackie shared out this broadcast. It's a good one. Thank you so much. Yes, if you guys wouldn't mind reposts and likes and all that stuff, greatly, they go a long way. Terry Wallace, nice to see you. Terry Wallace over on Rumble. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Triple shooting at a birthday party last night in Oakland. Ridiculous. Yeah, I think I saw that. Oakland's wild. Jackie, I remember when the shanty towns were in Tijuana and none were in California. Yeah, like the Oakland 12th Street Shantytown Village is bananas. If you guys haven't seen it, I mean, go to my page and search it. You'll find it. Search 12th Street. Just search 12th Street and you'll find it. All right, let's see what Eric Swalwell has to say about the Pamela Price recall. Because I mean, it's shocking. The Democrats are turning on each other.
Good afternoon. We have gathered to make a statement to the community that District Attorney Pam Price has failed the people of the East Bay.
Under the bus.
And we are uniting to seek her recall from office. Not something that any of us take lightly, but a responsibility we all carry so that we all can feel more safe and have less anxiety as we live our lives in the community. Standing behind me are many family members who lost loved ones to violent crime. And violent crimes are on the rise in the East Bay. And there's a straight line between somebody who came into one of the highest regarded district attorney offices in the country and brought a pro-criminal approach to law enforcement.
Now, don't get me wrong. Pamela Price has released criminals that she shouldn't have released, has refused to prosecute people that should have been prosecuted. But the policies that are affecting Oakland, California, the entire Bay Area, San Francisco, LA, these are Democrat policies. And when I say Democrats, I'm saying the elected Democrats in office. They're not really Democrats. These aren't liberal people anymore. These are insane socialist policies that have driven many parts of Oakland, many parts of San Francisco, many parts of LA into a slum-like state. It's like the crime is starting to trickle into other neighborhoods, which we'll get into in a bit here, where it's, they've stolen everything they can from Oakland locals that they got to start branching outwards now. And they're trying to pin all this on Pamela Price. These Democrats were all soft on crime, defund the police people during the George Floyd riots. Like, don't let Swalwell fool you. He's just as guilty as Pamela Price in all of this.
The district attorney of the county is the highest law enforcement officer in the county. But Pam Price doesn't act that way. The cops catch and Price releases.
And why he's federal? Why is he speaking it? Where's the local state senator? Where's the local assembly people speaking out against her? Like, there must be a mutiny taking place right now because Swalwell shouldn't even be there.
The cops catch and Price releases. Violent robberies and burglaries and home invasion robberies continue to be on the rise. Go to any Target, CVS, grocery store in the community, and most of what you need, you have to ring a button, have somebody at the store come get for you.
That has nothing to do with Pamela Price. Nothing to do with Pamela Price. That is all because of Prop 47 and decriminalizing theft under $950. So people just walk in, it becomes a misdemeanor. And the district attorney, Pamela Price, or Brooke Jenkins, or anybody else, they're not going to prosecute for misdemeanors. It's going to be a slap on the wrist for anything that is stolen goods under $950. That's all. That was actually voted on by Californians, but it was pushed. I think we voted on it in 2014, I think. And that was pushed by Gavin Newsom. It was pushed by all these other Democrats. I mean, it was, they did the same promotion for it that they always do. They got people like pop artists and, famous people to talk about how good Prop 47 is going to be for the community. And all it's done is led to, stuff at your local Target being behind plexiglass when you want to go get deodorant or toothpaste. Now you got to call somebody to come unlock it for you. It's insane. That has nothing to do with Pamela Price. They made it a misdemeanor. $950 or less theft is a misdemeanor. So now everything's behind plexiglass. Shut up, Swalwell. That has nothing to do with Pamela Price. That's your fault.
Because our retail centers are being ravaged. When crime goes up, everything else we value goes down. The quality of our schools for our kids, home values, resources that can go into a community.
Is he chewing? Is he chewing tobacco? Is he dipping right now? I swear, it looks like he's got a lipper in.
And a business's willingness to want to take a risk and start a business. Now, we need criminal justice reform in America. We need it in California.
Okay, enough of Swalwell. Freaking annoying. Can't stand that douchebag. All right, so this is from SFist. Never heard of this. Never heard of this news organization here. So, report. Alameda County DA Pamela Price had 1,000 misdemeanor cases dismissed because her office simply blew filing deadlines. And again, a lot of those should have been felonies, but they decriminalized theft. So, okay, this article's not too long. A possible October surprise in next month's recall election of Alameda County DA Pamela Price comes in a new report that claims that more than 1,000 misdemeanor offenders walked free because Price's office missed deadlines to file. In the attempt to recall Alameda County District Attorney Pamela Price, it was considered a win for Price that the recall election was delayed until November 5th, likely giving Price some Kamala Harris's coattails to keep her afloat. But a story that the Chronicle just dropped in October 10th may take Price's campaign wish the recall election had come sooner. That Chronicle report today says that Price's office had allowed more than 1,000 misdemeanor cases to expire without consequence simply because Price's office missed one of the 1-year statute of limitations deadline to bring charges. Among these cases, per the Chronicle, is a driver who slammed into a parked vehicle who tested at a 0.22 blood alcohol level, nearly 3 times the legal limit. That's a misdemeanor. That Chronicle report today says that Price's office had allowed more than 1,000 misdemeanor cases to expire without consequences, simply because Price's office missed 1-year deadline. Okay, I'm sorry, I just read that paragraph. People, perhaps more troubling for Price, the information comes from apparent whistleblowers currently working on her own staff. The Cron says that they got this information from documents prepared by current office staffers that were shared with the Chronicle. Price's office acknowledged a backlog to the Chronicle, but did not provide their own numbers on how large the backlog is. And the Chronicle admits it could not independently confirm the numbers provided by current prosecutors. So it is not a slam dunk truth that Price's office has whiffed on 1,000 cases in her 20 months in office, but there's clearly some there. Did they steal that from Bill Clinton? According to the so-called whistleblowers, 360 misdemeanor cases were already dismissed over missed statute of limitation deadlines, and another 646 cases appear almost certain to be dismissed for the same reason. So it's so if true, that's 1,006 dismissed misdemeanor cases. Through some of these may be suspects with multiple cases. But these missed deadlines also cut into some of Price's signature cases. Price missed procedural deadlines on 3 Alameda PD officers facing involuntary manslaughter charges in 2021 death of Mario Gonzalez. 2 of those officers had their charges dismissed. 1 still faces charges. Price's office blames DA Nancy O'Malley's office for the backlog. Interim Chief of Prosecutors Evanthea Pappas told the Chronicle that Price was not provided with any sort of roadmap or transition when she came in, and that as soon as she found out about the backlog, she had been addressing it branch by branch and is currently working on the backlog at Wiley Manual Courthouse. O'Malley insists this is baloney. I committed a lot of staff whose only job was to look at those cases, and they were assigned to work with different police departments, she told the Quran. We got reports every 2 weeks from the branch heads, and not one person ever said, by the way, we need more help because we can't get through these cases. You would expect finger pointing and different versions of events from Price and O'Malley. They ran against each other in the past and campaigned quite negatively against one another. It is fair to assume that Nancy O'Malley and Pamela Price don't like each other one bit. So the Chronicle spoke with independent sources in San Mateo DA Steve Wagstaff, he said it was highly unusual to allow statutes of limitations to expire before charging a suspect. You have a deadline and you make your deadline, Wagstaff told the Chronicle. So this is a bad story dropping at a bad time for Pamela Price. But potentially worse, Price has whistleblowers in her own office talking to the press, and they may have more whistles to blow before the November 5th recall election. Alameda County, vote for her recall. Just like San Francisco got Chesapeake out of there, you guys got to get Pamela Price out of there. You got to get Sheng Tao out of there as well. All right, let's keep going. Pamela Price, she's on the chopping block. November 5th, vote her out of there. So all of these things, all of these bad policies that I talk about, they all lead to what we're seeing here in California. Like the what they call crime reduction, or harm reduction rather. Harm reduction. All these drug policies where people can just do drugs on the streets, shoot up fentanyl on the streets. They allow illegal immigrants from Honduras to deal fentanyl on the streets. Cops don't do anything about it. It's catch and release with them too. It's all madness, and they call it harm reduction. Like it's always the opposite of what's really happening. Ever since these harm reduction policies have been implemented, you see absolute despair on the streets of south of Market in San Francisco, on the streets of Oakland, and parts. I mean, you see it in Santa Cruz. You see it out here in Santa Cruz, and I'm gonna talk about a post that Mike Cernovich made a couple of days ago, and I agree with him to a certain regard, to a certain extent, but I think he's missing. I mean, Cernovich is a smart guy, and I like a lot of what he has to say, but I want to push back on some of the things that he said a little bit. We'll get into that in a minute, but this is from JJ Smith. He says, if you have a moment to take a break review, this 12 minutes episode of Harm Reduction Crew distribute Jenny G. Shao a suicide kit. They didn't ask for no questions. Sorry, he's not writing so well here. They didn't ask for no questions. They didn't offer no substitution in the forms of detox or rehab. Watch Erica J. Sandberg move in and start some dialogue conversation about public perception and how people's help. This gonna be very interesting and educational. Jeez, JJ, come on, you gotta work on your writing here, buddy. Let's watch this video. So this is, before I start the video, this is what these harm reduction sites look like. This is what they go out to little areas. Like, where is this? This actually looks like it's the what they call it, the Great Highway. I'm not sure exactly where this is, but look at, they set up these tables, and you see all these different, like, it's highly organized. All these different bins, they have different drug paraphernalia in them. They have crack pipes, they have needles, hypodermic needles, they have foil, they have the things you need to tie off your arm to inject, like the rubber hosing. They have cookers, like little Bunsen burners that people can cook with. It's all of the tools you need to consume drugs, and they just hand it out, and they call this harm reduction. It blows my mind. I can't talk about it enough, but these are the Democrat policies that I'm talking about. That, blame Pamela Price all you want, but this is the kind of stuff that you have going on. Blame Chesapeake all you want, even though he's awful too. Like, I'm not trying to cut them any slack, but these are standard Democrat policies now that they get in lockstep about, and they just swear up and down that this is good for California. This is good for Californians. This is good to reduce the consumption of these hard drugs that are destroying society at a foundational level. It's awful what they're doing out there. So just watch this quick video. This is again, they're handing out crack pipes, you guys. They're handing out fentanyl needles. And this has somehow become normalized. It's madness. It's absolute madness.
She's very nice explaining. Maybe she'll talk to you.
There it is too. Here, let me go back a little bit. You see what this guy has in his hand here? How funny. It's a really thin single-use plastic bag. The same bags that they've outlawed in grocery stores. But if you're getting fentanyl needles or crack pipes, perfectly fine. They are not bad for the environment as long as you're handing out fentanyl needles and crack pipes. Single-use plastic bags are fine if that's the case.
Talk to you.
I mean, this lady there.
Yeah, you should talk to you. Go and speak to her.
Yeah.
Hey, exciting. Hi.
So that bag that you saw in her hand, that single-use plastic bag that you saw in her hand right there, this bag, the single-use plastic bag that we used to line our trash cans with, that are now illegal to hand out in grocery stores. Well, in 2027 they will be. Well, actually, no, they're outlawed now. Now you get those super thick plastic bags. Anyway, this is all filled with drug paraphernalia that she just got for free from a non-governmental agency that gets funding from California tax dollars. Drug paraphernalia in a single-use plastic bag that's illegal to hand out at grocery stores. Everything's backwards. Everything is freaking insane. It's all backwards. I can't. My brain breaks with all of this stuff. All right, let's check in on the chat. Jackie, I hope Oakland gets rid of these people. I remember when they shed. Oh, yeah, I already read that. Terry Wallace over on Rumble. Triple shooting at a. Oh, yeah, I already read that too. Okay, I think this one from Jackie here. I'll be caught up. Jackie over on X. You have to wonder how endangered people like endangered people like Swalwell feel free. Sorry, the chat text is hard for me to read for some reason. It's so small. You have to wonder how endangered people like Swalwell feel for their own elections when they start to eat their own. Their one strength is sticking together and sticking to the party lines. Politics is like dog shit in your shoes. Yeah, it's weird when you see Democrats start the infighting, because it's freaking knives out behind the scenes. But when it comes to like presenting a public facing image, they're all in lockstep with one another. So when you see them publicly denouncing each other, something's up. There's like a mutiny happening behind the scenes. Terry Wallace, I think Oakland has embarrassed even California. Yeah, as it should. I mean, and so should like the Tenderloin of San Francisco. And only like the Tenderloin in downtown, because San Francisco is still beautiful. And I mean, I go there, I work there a lot. I have friends there. I go, like, San Francisco is still beautiful, and it is one of the most geographically unique locations on earth, like out near Christie Field. They just had Fleet Week this week. I mean, there's so many things to do in San Francisco, so much amazing food. The Presidio's beautiful. You got all the beautiful beaches there. San Francisco is amazing. It's just, again, policies like much of the rest of California. It's just policies that are ruining it. Wally World, I'm triggered. Wally World over on YouTube. I'm triggered by the free plastic bag. I'm triggered by the plastic bag situation. Completely. Absolutely triggered by that situation. All right, let's keep going here. All right. This is from Domestic Terrorist over on the X platform here. My audio still okay, guys? It feels like it just got weird. So this shows like the anarcho-tyranny of the city of San Francisco. It's, you can shoot up and shit and piss everywhere on the sidewalks, but if you park in the wrong spot, or if you don't pay the parking meter in time, you're going to get a massive ticket or even get your car towed. But if you set up a tent in that same spot, everything would be fine, and you can just stay there for as long as you want. It's madness. So this is just a quick video from Domestic Terrorist. He writes, actually, let me see his post says, I was pulled off. I think he said, I meant to say I was pulled over. I was pulled over for something very petty in an ironic location this morning. Clearly what's going on in front of me is not a big deal to the authorities. So just this is a video from his dash. He got pulled over for probably like, doing a California stop at a stop sign. That's where you just kind of don't come all the way to a complete stop and roll through it. Or maybe he turned on red where he wasn't supposed to, something petty. But this is what's going on in front of him as he's getting pulled over. Like, this dude's clearly on drugs right here. You got shit all over the sidewalks, and these are their bike lanes that they're so obsessed over. Oh, the irony. It is just funny. Like, that's the anarcho-tyranny of San Francisco right there. It's just, if you're a drug addict, you can do whatever you want. If you're a middle-class person just trying to make rent, they're going to go after you. Okay, so this is from Mike Cernovich, and he's reposting his own thing, and I'm not sure where he is. I think he's in like the Santa Monica area. He says, looking for needles, crime, and poop that people who don't live in California assure me is everywhere, did not find. And I totally get the point that he's trying to make, because I live in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and you guys see some of the like trails that I post pictures of. It's freaking beautiful where I live. It's absolutely gorgeous. And there's tons of places all over that are just gorgeous. And yes, you kind of need to know where the slums are. The thing is, I feel like he's making light of this. So he reposts his own post and says, sorry, I'll pull it up here. So here, let me just play this video that he played. He's riding his bike around like Santa Monica, and look how beautiful it is. This is California. This is real California. It's gorgeous, and like San Luis Obispo, not Huntington Beach. Well, Huntington Beach is beautiful too. Santa Barbara, Santa Barbara is absolutely gorgeous. But so he says it's hard to find filth in California. You have to know where to look. It's easier to find beauty. 100% agree. Because so many of you have low IQ, you cannot understand a simple point. You already know what happens next. Blocked. Okay. It's funny because he gets so this isn't such a black and white issue that he's making it out to be, because the horrible places are growing. You're starting to see little patches of like the homelessness, the drug use in places that you didn't see it before. Like in the mountains here, trash getting dumped in places where trash never got dumped before. And we've always had homelessness and stuff, but these slums are getting much worse and worse, like the 12th Street shantytown that I talked about in Oakland. And again, yeah, you need to know where to go look, but these slums are growing and the crime is starting to follow people home. And the sideshows that used to be more about people showing off their cars and stuff are now about like terrorizing the neighborhoods. When I was in high school, there were sideshows. They used to shut down freeways and spots, but it was way more mild than it is now. And you had to worry about the cops a little bit because things didn't get shut down for an entire night for hours on end. It was, more like a quick sideshow and then everybody scatters, but that doesn't happen anymore. It's like all night long. So I get the point that Cernovich is trying to make. I make this point. I love California. There's a reason I'm here. There's a reason I'm fighting for it. It's beautiful. It's the most beautiful state in the country. Well, that could be debated, obviously, but we're the only tropical climate in the United States. The amount of food we grow is insane. Yosemite and all of the other places that are just as gorgeous as Yosemite. There's no place like California. There's a reason I'm fighting for it. But saying stuff like this almost makes it seem like you're trying to take away from the actual issues that are facing California. So he continues. So, and I posted a picture too of me at Henry Cowell on one of my trail runs taking a sunset picture. And he reposts, this is Elizabeth Burns here. She says, anywhere, there's bad places and beautiful ones. Why would you visit a crime-infested area when there are so many beautiful places in California? 100% true. And he reposts her and he says, Elizabeth Burns. Oh yeah, we follow each other. Yeah, she's cool. So California conservative, yes, we do exist. Can we please bring back critical thinking and common sense? Yeah, follow Elizabeth Burns at eburns24_Burns. So he says, people who hate California 24/7 have one trait in common. They are bugmen. What does that mean? What does bugmen mean? Yes, let me know in the chat. What is a bugman? If you hike, surf, or enjoy the outdoors, you find the good and avoid the filthy urban environments, which geographically speaking are tiny slices of the state. Agree, 100%. I'm a trail runner. I love nature. I love the outdoors. And believe it or not, I am actually like an environmentalist. I hate it when I see people dumping trash. I'm a pack it in, pack it out guy. If you leave trash out on the trails, you know, one of my pet peeves, people that pick up their dog poop in dog bags and then leave it on the trail. Like you're better off kicking the dog poop off the trail. Like, don't do that either. You should pick up your dog poop. But people that put it in a bag and then leave it on the trail as if there's some dog poop fairy that comes around and picks up all the poop bags. It drives me insane. But, you know, and protecting the steelhead trout, like we have endangered steelhead trout here in the San Lorenzo River. We also have needle exchange programs where they just hand out fentanyl needles. They have that here in Santa Cruz. You know what ultimately happens? These needles end up in the San Lorenzo River where we have endangered steelhead trout. So, and again, it's like the progressives, the liberals, the Democrats that claim they're all about the environment because they're always talking about climate change. They can't even take care of their local environments and keeping the watersheds clean. And somehow they think that they can affect global climate. It's maddening because they're the ones contributing to the pollution of local waterways. At the same time, they're lecturing you about using a plastic bag at the grocery store. It's all so hypocritical. But I mean, to Cernovich's point, yes, like I'm actually one of the people that complain about all the stuff in California. It's not complaining, and I'm trying to shine a spotlight on it and show how these policies are leading to the degradation of society in certain places in California where, I mean, yeah, you have to know where to go. Well, parts of San Francisco shouldn't look like this. They just shouldn't. And it's because of policies that they do look like this. And we shouldn't have death and despair on the streets. Like, yeah, you can avoid that stuff, but there's still people dying on the streets. What about them? You know, we shouldn't be handing out fentanyl needles to people that are addicted to fentanyl. Just, yeah. So like, I get the point Cernovich is trying to make. And I think that's his overall point is like, stop hating on, like, stop trying to act like California is just shit and piss covered everywhere you go. Cause it's not, those are tiny spots within California. At the same time, let's not pretend that Democrat policies haven't created horrific conditions in certain areas of California, and those conditions seem to be growing and spreading outwards. So, you know, it's not such a black and white thing. Anyway, all right. So here's just some videos that I have pulled up that show what Democrat policies have led to. So yeah, this is just okay. So there's just a bunch of different locations. This is LA. This is one of the things they do when they all organize and then go take over a freaking liquor store or 7-Eleven or whatever. And this is one of their street takeovers, and then ultimately they all rob a 7-Eleven.
Bro need to give up.
Okay, so next is just a sequence of like shit that you see on a nightly basis. This is also in LA, I believe. It's either LA or Oakland. Same sort of scene. This is a street takeover.
Bro, watch out, bro. Damn, bro. Jeez.
This is also LA. Might be the same night.
Mayhem and drunk.
Yeah. So again, this like Cernovich's point, you have to know where to look. Yeah. The thing is, you shouldn't be seeing this. Why aren't you seeing this in other states? I guess you're starting to see it in some other states, but like stolen cars burning in the middle of intersections is becoming a regular occurrence in LA and Oakland and sometimes San Francisco. Like, come on, let's not pretend there isn't a problem.
Wow.
Wild. That song is the jam, though. I don't know what song that was. I liked it, though. Let's see. Keep going. Just another scene. Another crazy scene. This might all be from the same night in LA, but you see this almost every weekend. When winter comes, it'll be less, but you'll still see it. So this is they just start destroying cars at a car dealership. Like, why? Why do this? When they say that phrase, "we outside," that's one of the most annoying phrases to me. It's like, yeah, I know, you guys, we could tell you're outside clearly. Like, you're not doing this inside. I get it. It's such an annoying phrase to me. Sorry, I'm such a boomer. Okay, so you see all the sideshows, all that shit's happening on a regular basis. This is from Henry K. Lee over on KTVU Fox 2. It's 4 different videos. He says they sawed through 3 locks to a backyard shed in the Berkeley Hills before dawn, stealing $7,000 in power tools and golf clubs. We moved due to safety concerns in SF so we could start a family. But crime like this in Berkeley appears to be on the rise. So again, like the places where crime isn't normal, and you guys know the Berkeley Hills, the Oakland Hills, that's not a crime-ridden area. You're seeing crime on the rise out there. You're seeing home invasions and carjackings out like Skyline Boulevard over there. You're seeing that stuff's on the rise. So let's watch some of these videos here. So again, this is from Henry K. Lee at KTVU Fox 2. It's just some thugs breaking into somebody's shed and stealing all their power tools and shit. Just picking a random home. I mean, you guys get the picture. Just degenerate assholes breaking into people's homes and stealing their stuff in well-to-do neighborhoods. And then this is one thing you're seeing on the rise that seems to be happening a lot more and more. So this is from Kevin Dalton. It says multi-million-dollar homes in safe neighborhood in Gavin Newsom's lawless California forced to equip their homes with cameras, barbed wire, alarms, and German shepherds in response to the 7th burglary in the past week. One a day? You kidding me? All right, let's watch this video. This is from KTLA.
Yet another LA neighborhood on high alert after a band of anywhere between 3 and 4 burglars dressed in dark clothing, masks, equipped with Wi-Fi jammers strike time after time.
So this is organized crime in broad daylight, equipped with Wi-Fi jammers? Like they're making it so harder so they can't call out? Like, what the hell?
Exactly where to go. They had a crew of 4 people it was very in and out.
Many in this West Side Village, Mar Vista neighborhood want to remain anonymous, fearing that their family or their homes might be targeted again. Within the last week, they've counted at least 7 burglaries.
The concerning part, it's happening during the day now, and which is scary when you have kids and a family.
This video capturing an attempted break-in on Glendon Avenue near Queensland shows the thieves using a house under construction as their entry point. The homeowners say this was the 4th break-in within the last year and a half, despite their best efforts to install barbed wire and have their dogs on standby.
Which you would think you'd be safe if you have 2 German Shepherds at home. They must have drugged the dogs because the dogs, she said, were terrified after that.
A few blocks away, thieves successfully smashed their way inside this house on Veteran Avenue, specifically looking for jewelry and designer handbags.
What they do is the driver drops off the burglars and then circles the block. So we're telling our neighbors, if you see someone circling the block suspiciously, because they're waiting for the burglars to finish the job and then they come pick them up.
From this angle, you clearly see the getaway car, a white Toyota Camry, spotted circling the area on a...
Guarantee it's a stolen car. So they got their tactics down. These aren't dumb people.
Few occasions.
I went and got my weapon after that happened, and we're bringing it down in the living room. Who wants to live like this?
Some, like Elliot Greiner, worry about leaving their house, not knowing what they'll find when they return.
When I'm not here for hours, I'm very apprehensive. When I get back, am I going to be broken into? I just don't want to come home to a disaster.
So home invasions and robberies are happening more and more in Gavin Newsom's California. So this is again from Henry K. Lee. Don't move. Give me your purse. Couple returning home in Mercedes robbed in Vallejo's Glen Cove neighborhood. Again, a well-to-do area. This isn't the hood. And all they did, it looks like they were followed home. So this is another tactic that they're using. They see people in expensive vehicles. They're like, let's just follow them home. Let's just follow them home and rob them. So that's what this situation was. So my personal belief is everyone should be strapped. This lady should be pulling out her pistol, and these guys should be fired on as soon as her husband is out of the line of fire, obviously, but husband should be strapped as well. In my opinion, the only solution to this is constitutional carry for everyone in California. When people start getting shot for attempting to take the personal property of other people by force, when they start getting very injured or losing their life over it, you'll see this stuff not happen as much. When everybody is armed, this will start to stop happening. A well-armed society is a polite society. This lady's got her hand on her purse. She should be pulling a freaking firearm out of her purse, ready to drop this dude that's attacking her husband.
No, give your purse.
So he pulls out his pistol, right? I mean, yeah, there needs to... Would this lead to a firefight? Most likely. But if that lady had a firearm in her purse and she trained with it regularly, she would have already drawn her pistol and likely started fire on this guy before this guy even got on the scene. But yeah, these dudes deserve to have something happen to them, and I'm not allowed to say on YouTube. So at this point, screaming, neighbors should be coming out of the house with their freaking ARs. Like this. I just got in not an argument, but I was telling this dude that I work with why he was telling me, like, he was like, oh, you don't need a firearm. I'm just like, really? It's like, this is exactly why you need a firearm. He's like, home invasions they don't happen that often. They're, it's just to me, that's just cognitive dissonance. You see, this stuff is on the rise. That could have killed her. She could have hit her head on the concrete. Oh, it took her purse. She said, my medicine is in there. Freaking human garbage. Yeah. Everyone should be strapped. Let's go to another one. So this is on the Bay Bridge. This is so people that get caught in the middle of these street takeovers, like the mob mentality takes over, and this is on the new span of the Bay Bridge in between Treasure Island and Oakland. And you see it's a street takeover. You've been seeing this happen more frequently on the Bay Bridge, is they take over one side of traffic. I believe this is the side of traffic that's going east towards Oakland, but they take over all lanes and they just stop the freeway and they start doing donuts and stuff. Well, somebody got caught in the middle of it and maybe tried to stop it, and this is what happened to him. So they're beating the hell out of this guy. And then this other guy comes in and tries to intervene, the guy in a blazer and a tie, and I think they start beating him too. Oh, they take his backpack. Give me your shit. So you get caught in the middle of this stuff, and you're going to get, if you try to intervene, you're going to get beat up and they're going to rob you. And again, everyone should be strapped. If someone tries to take your personal property, I don't care where you are, you should be allowed to shoot them. A well-armed society is a polite society. Let's keep going. I got one more. So all of this stuff is what Democrat policies have contributed to. So this is in Oakland. This is Shang Tao and Pamela Price's Oakland here. And this is a small business robbed at gunpoint in the middle of the day. This is from Bay Area State of Mind. Awesome account. You guys should follow him.
And it's a time to celebrate the heart and soul of our community, our small businesses. Our small businesses do more than just serve our needs. They rebuild relationships, they strengthen our economy, and embody the vibrant spirit of Oakland.
Happy Small Business Month, Oakland. Let's keep thriving together.
Lawless ass California, So again, back to Cernovich, what he was saying there, that it's only pockets of California where you see all the horrible shit and you can avoid them to a certain extent. Yes, but not when it follows you home and robs you in your own driveway because you're driving a nice vehicle, and your tax dollars are still they're still paying for the fentanyl needles that are contributing to overdose deaths on the sidewalk. You're not completely detached from this. If you're a resident, I should say a citizen, not a resident. If you're a California citizen, you can only stay so detached from this because they've rigged the elections with mail-in ballots, not requiring voter ID, outlawing hand counting ballots, giving people a month to vote and then a month to count the votes. They've rigged elections, created a supermajority, a one-party rule, and there's no voting your way out of this. So it's like, yes, the sun is still going to rise and there's still going to be beautiful sunsets and the ocean's still there, Yosemite's still there, the beautiful mountains are still there and all that. But you can only be so detached from this. My regular running route along the San Lorenzo River, that levee, that bike path, there's certain stretches of it that people just won't go because it's filled with homeless people that are, shooting up and stuff. For the most part in Santa Cruz, the homeless people are actually pretty nice. It's not the stuff you see in the Tenderloin. I mean, some of it, yes, you do see people strung out on drugs and stuff, but I mean, I talk to the homeless people in Santa Cruz because I go running out there, and like a lot of them have dogs, and I'll be like, "Can I say hi to your dog?" And I'll end up talking with the homeless people that might be on fentanyl right then and there, and they let me pet their dog and say hi. But still, like, they shouldn't be shooting up and pitching tents and shitting and pissing all over the place along the San Lorenzo River, and that stuff, a lot of it ends up in the river, so it's not such a clear black and white issue. So let's keep going here. Check in with the chat. Oh, okay, so let's see. North side. Okay, north side over on Rumble. It's a love-hate thing with the North Bay, SF, Berkeley, Oakland area. Yeah, I agree. Man. It's so beautiful, but there's too much nonsense. You're always at risk of one of the the denizens of the dark side of California wandering into your nice are and committing horrific crime, for example, against the Asians. Yeah. Stop Asian Hate. Remember how that was a thing, and then it went away when they realized it wasn't white people doing it. North side over on Rumble area. Okay, I got you. Cerno writes articles about banging trannies, coach. We can't trust him. Does he really? What the fuck? I read his book, Guerrilla Mindset. It's a good book. That is hilarious. I never knew you wrote it. I didn't know you wrote articles about that. Oh, that's too funny. That is funny. A bug man is a city living man who votes Democrat. Huh. I didn't know that. Jackie over on X. California is the bellwether of Democrat policies, and the nation can look forward to what we now have going on here if this trajectory continues on a national level. 100% agree. Ganko 1, what the F, madness. Northside, we outside. I know. Feet on land. That's, yeah, that's a way of saying it, isn't it? I have multiple friends with local businesses that have been, Jack Downing, nice to see you, man, over on X. I have multiple friends with local businesses that have been hit recently in the Bay Area. That's freaking horrible. Jack Downing, it's getting to the point that we are discussing organizing community policing because the cities don't care. I get it. Jackie over on X, I am getting mine and working on a concealed carry permit. Crime is down. Bullshit. Hey, if you get busted with a firearm, it's a misdemeanor. Just saying. I'm just saying that it's a misdemeanor as long as it isn't part of any other crime. Just saying. That's all. Danger, you're still here. I like it. Over on YouTube, the parking lot where I work is out of control. I know you've shown me some of the videos. It's pretty. That one of the videos you sent me was freaking hilarious, by the way. It's like The Walking Dead. Man, where is that, Lonnie? What area is that? I thought that can't be Los Gatos. Yeah, it can't be Los Gatos. All right, let's keep going here, folks. I got some other stuff I want to get into. I'm going until I get through all of it. I know we're already at 2 hours, but I'm going to keep going here. So I want to talk about Kamala Harris and other California stuff. This is mainly like a California episode tonight. So let's go over to Autism Capital, shall we? Let's go to Elon Musk was just on Tucker Carlson's show, and he had some interesting things to say. So he says he's talking about Kamala Harris, former San Francisco district attorney, former California attorney general, Kamala Harris. So Elon, part of why Kamala is getting so much support is that Trump wins, that if Trump wins, that Epstein list will become public, and some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome. Tucker, Do you think Reid Hoffman is uncomfortable? Elon, yes, and Bill Gates. I don't even know who Reid Hoffman is. I probably should, but I don't know who Reid Hoffman is. So let's watch this quick clip from Elon.
I'd like to see a matchup of those, we call it the top 100 puppet masters in the FD client list.
Do you think there's some overlap?
Strong overlap. Strong overlap.
When are we going to see that list, do you think?
I don't know. It's mind blowing that they've not tried to prosecute even one, not even the worst offender on the Epstein client list. They have not even tried to prosecute even one. That's insane.
Well, because they have a lot of diabetic grandmothers who were outside the Capitol on January 6th. They're kind of occupied.
Yeah, I mean they've put like whatever 500 or 600 January 6th protesters in prison, and not one person on the Epstein client list.
Will that ever come out, do you think?
I don't think it will.
I think part of why Kamala is getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
I don't believe that.
And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Yeah. Do you think Reid Hoffman's?
Look, I'm voting for Trump, and you know I, for the most part, like the guy, but I think Trump and Epstein's relationship was a lot closer than people on the right and Trump supporters think it was. Reading Whitney Webb's book, him and Epstein were fairly chummy, and the connections are a lot deeper than you might think. So I highly recommend One Nation Under Blackmail by Whitney Webb, Volume 1 and 2. Volume 2 is where they talk more about the Epstein stuff. Volume 1's like the background to Epstein and blackmail and all that crap, the origins of all of it. So here's another Elon and Tucker clip. This is from Libs of TikTok. He says, if Kamala wins, they will 100% try to shut down X and go after Elon. Free speech is essential to our existence. This election is a fight for the survival of our great country. This is another quick clip.
If she wins, I mean, how can they let X continue in its current form, in its current role in American society?
They won't. They will try to shut it down by any means possible.
What do you mean by any means possible?
I mean, either by they'll try to pass laws. They'll try to prosecute the company, prosecute me. The amount of lawfare that we've seen taking place is outrageous. There are many examples, but like the Department of Justice, for example, launched a huge lawsuit against SpaceX for failing to hire asylum seekers.
Come on.
Yeah,
asylum seekers?
Not asylum, those who were granted asylum seekers.
So illegal immigrants, listen to this catch-22. This catch-22 is freaking insane.
Now there's also a law called International Traffic and Arms Regulations that because SpaceX develops advanced missile technology that can be used in nuclear ICBMs, that we have to be very careful with who we hire. We can only hire someone if they're a permanent resident or citizen. That's what the ITAR law says.
Okay, so there's two contradicting laws. He's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't.
Then there's another law that says that you cannot discriminate against asylum seekers. So we're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Oh.
But DOJ did a massive lawsuit against SpaceX for failing to hire asylum seekers, even though it is illegal for us to hire asylum seekers under ITAR law. This is an actual thing that's going on, and they can only do a fairly small number of lawsuits every year. So why did they pick this one?
Because you have X.
Yeah, lawfare.
The political lawfare is insane too, and something they're doing Oh, yeah, I forgot to pull this up, but Gavin Newsom just made it so SpaceX couldn't launch from California in one of their normal launching sites that they use in California because of stuff that he says on Twitter. Like they were pretty blatant about it. talking about how, yeah, SpaceX can't launch from California because of Elon's political views. Look into that. I should have had it pulled up, but I forgot about that until right now. All right, let's this is another Tucker clip, but it's not Elon. This is Harmeet Dillon this time. Harmeet Dillon is the chair of the California Republican Party. She is a California native, California local, more specifically a Bay Area local, more specifically than that, a San Francisco local. And, you know, she's come up in the ranks at the same time as Kamala Harris. And she personally knows Kamala Harris. And she swam through the same shark-infested waters that she did. And she knows her really well. So here's her talking about a story of how incompetent Kamala Harris is, but somehow she still rose to the ranks of California Attorney General, later California Senator, and now Vice President of the United States, and now she's going for the White House. She's failed up her entire career. She's failed and cheated her way to the top her entire career. Listen to Harmeet Dillon explain how incompetent she is and how there was just zero repercussions for her incompetence.
In San Francisco, in the drug lab, there was a drug technician who was supposed to test the drugs. And this person was sampling the drugs, taking them home and sampling them and also making numerous errors. This was an open secret in the district attorney's office. So after, you know, people mentioned it on numerous occasions, judges chastised the district attorney's office. Eventually, a top manager in the office sent a cover your ass email to Kamala Harris saying, hey, by the way, I think the head of this drug lab section is actually taking drugs and regularly violating protocols and handling evidence. Kamala Harris, instead of doing her immediate duty as a district attorney to inform all defense counsel in all the cases in which this lab technician had handled the drugs for testing, she sat on it for a period of 3 months. And it only came out not through Kamala Harris disclosing it. And so the judge in that case, Christine Mazzullo, excoriated the district attorney's office. Now, by this time, Kamala Harris had been the district attorney for 6 years. In the 6 years she was the district attorney, she created no protocol for disclosing to defense counsel this, what's called a Brady violation, a violation which is so massive that you have to disclose to the other side that there's been a potential due process violation that could be exculpatory. So she got in trouble for that. She went on after that, 2 years later, to become the Attorney General of California. So there's literally no accountability for, by some accounts, 1,400 cases, either convictions or pending cases, had to be dismissed.
So think about that. Like, how many people were freed, potentially violent criminals, because Kamala Harris didn't disclose that information? It's pretty shocking when you think about it. And fails upwards. Remember, everybody knows their Jerry Brown start. So here's another clip of her talking about how it's not just Kamala Harris, it's this California machine, as she calls it, that pushes corrupt and incompetent people to the top as long as they are the ones that are deemed the right ones for that position, the ones that fall in line in terms of party politics, do what they're told, and, you know, grease the right wheels. No matter how incompetent they are, those are the people that rise to the top. And it really shows that California politicians are appointed. They're not elected. And we talk about how our elections are rigged, and that's how they are appointed, through rigged elections. We get the illusion of choice here in California. For some reason, the same people keep ruling us. The same families have ruled California for decades. Here's Harmeet talking about, you know, not just Kamala Harris, but Gavin Newsom in that regard. It's another Tucker clip.
It isn't one. It can happen to any of us. I think we all freeze sometimes in tense situations, but we've all seen her on the national and international stage doing increasingly incoherent word salad statements. We've just seen the incident with 60 Minutes substituting a completely incoherent answer that she gave to a question with something else that she did in another part of the interview, or maybe even taped afterwards. Who knows? I have no idea how 60 Minutes came up with that.
But 60 Minutes got caught lying about the interview.
60 Minutes has been caught blatantly fixing her incoherence for her. And, that has been the case with the mainstream media. And I think this is a theme throughout her career, dating back to that 2000, 2003, as she gotten her leg up in life by shortcuts, not by meritocracy. And then she finds herself in a position that is beyond her capabilities. And then she has to lie and exaggerate to maintain that position and get to the next level. But with the assistance of the Democratic machine in California, and to be fair to her, she's not the only person. I mean, Gavin Newsom is another example of somebody who has faked his way to the top. Javier Becerra, who's in the cabinet today, is a guy who had basically 1 year of legal experience before he became the Attorney General of California.
So a lot of these people came up in California politics together. So the destruction of California isn't just Gavin Newsom. It's all of these corrupt California politicians, the people that came after Jerry Brown, where Jerry Brown, sure, corrupt, Democrat, but he was at least competent. And you get the general sense that he wanted what was best for California. Disagree with him on tons of shit, but you get the sense that Jerry Brown didn't want to destroy California. That's not the sense that you get from Gavin Newsom, Rob Bonta, Kamala Harris, Scott Wiener, Nancy Skinner, some of these horrific swamp creatures in California politics. And like Gavin Newsom, mayor of San Francisco, when San Francisco's decline really started, then became lieutenant governor and now governor of California. When he got recalled, that's when mail-in ballots got introduced. And then somehow they just stuck around. Mail-in ballots were introduced. Again, this is because of COVID. They didn't want people going and voting in person, so everybody gets mailed a ballot. We're just doing it for COVID, that's why we're doing this mail-in ballots thing. Well, then it just stayed. Like anything else government introduces as a temporary thing, it becomes a permanent thing for no good reason. Tangent, my bad.
And so California's machine has produced a number of underqualified and overconfident duds, but this person is seeking the top job of the United States with an exaggerated record, with a tattered history of sordid ways that she got to where she is, of numerous legal violations that could have resulted in criminal prosecution.
Yeah, that's just she's talking about some of her shady campaign finances that she's had going on. You guys watched that interview with Harmeet Dillon, Tucker Carlson. That's like one of the top 5 interviews that Tucker Carlson has done, in my opinion, but probably because it's so California specific. But that one was fantastic. She brought the receipts. I mean, quite literally, she brought like campaign literature from Kamala Harris, and she put Kamala on blast. So I highly recommend everybody goes and watches that episode of Tucker and Harmeet Dillon. Excellent one. So this is somebody commented, this is for Looking for Logic, that commented on one of my posts. Says she's the laziest candidate they could find. So this is some of her accomplishments here. As deputy district attorney in Alameda County, Kamala Harris didn't work weekends, took an average of 5 weeks of vacation, plus 34 days a year of sick and personal time off. 34, think about how much vacation time do you guys get? Do you guys get 5, 10 paid vacation days a year? She took 34. Okay. As San Francisco district attorney, Kamala Harris wouldn't work weekends, took an average of 7 weeks of vacation a year. 7 weeks. You guys you're lucky if you get 2. Plus 37 days a year of sick and personal time off. Oh, okay. So 7 weeks of vacation plus 5 weeks of sick time. That's insane. That's freaking insane. She gets like 3 months off, like a teacher, but she gets paid a whole lot more. As senator, Kamala Harris had one of the lowest attendance records in the Senate, showing up for less than 55% of sessions. As vice president, Kamala Harris has 162 weekend vacations in 3.5 years, plus 128 days of non-working vacations, and a work schedule averaging 19.5 hours a week. I'm like averaging 50-hour weeks right now. Averaging. Kamala Harris is and always has been a lazy, manipulative leech on the American taxpayer. She doesn't have any work ethic. Oh boy. My old dog's trying to play. All right. Let's keep going here. This is I got one more block I want to get through, you guys. I know it's been a long episode. Oh. Huh. Lost connection to screen audio. Hopefully you guys saw the last Harmeet clip, but hopefully you heard the last Harmeet clip. Did you guys hear it? Let's see. Check the chat here really quick. Oh, Lonnie, it's over on San Jose and Saratoga. Oh, okay. Reid Hoffman owns Jackie over on X. Reid Hoffman owns LinkedIn. Oh, okay. And has funded all of the lawfare against Trump. Holy shit. The freaking owner, is he the CEO too? The owner of LinkedIn. Insane. Okay. Elon has said he is suing California Coastal Commission tomorrow for infringement of his 1A rights. Oh, okay. That's about the not allowing SpaceX to launch, right? Jack Downing over on X. I personally knew Kamala just because I grew up in San Francisco. I have so much insane dirt on her. It's crazy. She was the worst DA in San Francisco history for the most part. Even worse than Chesa? Crazy. Her as DA and Newsom as mayor really hurt the city. I bet. Oh, she was the DA at the same time Newsom was mayor? That's right, huh? I bet they hate each other too. I bet Newsom is so pissed that Kamala leapfrogged him to the presidency. Well, to the presidential race, because you know he wants to run. See, doesn't this also screw Newsom if she gets elected? Because Newsom wants to run in 2028. You know he wants to run in 2028. Well, if Kamala gets elected, she's going to run again in 2028. So Newsom must hate her so much. Jackie over on X. Harmeet is brilliant. 100%. She's awesome. She actually personally helped me with something too. She's when I was having trouble getting work because nobody wanted to hire me because of, well, you guys know my backstory. I talked about it earlier on the episode. She personally reached out to me and DM'd me and got me an interview and stuff. And it was pretty cool. It didn't end up working out with that company, but it was just really cool that she reached out to me. The company she introduced me to sort of lowballed me big time. It was it was funny as the company that I work for now is right down the street from that company, which is very funny. EJ Jill over on Rumble. Nice to see you. Welcome to the show. Thanks for reiterating Harmeet. Important material. Yeah, she's awesome. She's amazing. All right. I got one more block I want to get through, and this is about the California immigration. Jackie, you probably stuck around this whole episode just so you can hear me read your article. Sorry, it's the last block that I'm going to get to. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, this is more of this is California specific, but this is more of an immigration block. But California, sanctuary states, immigration, all that kind of stuff. Just stuff I want to talk about. Because, I kind of got a backlog of California stuff that I've been meaning to get to, and I just haven't been able to get to the last few episodes. So this is kind of, it's current stuff, but it's kind of a backlog of California immigration policy, sanctuary state policy stuff that I want to get to. So let's go over to Greg Price over on X. And this is bitch ass Alexander Mayorkas talking about, how, it's not really a big deal. Mayorkas, this is a quote from him. The notion that we have sought to intentionally allow individuals to cross the border illegally for the purpose of voting is preposterous, and everyone should condemn that rhetoric. Really, really. We're going to test how accurate that statement is in a minute here, Mr. Mayorkas. You guys tell me if you got audio, because I was having audio problems a minute ago.
The notion that we in law enforcement have sought to intentionally allow individuals to cross the border illegally for the purpose of voting is preposterous, and everyone should condemn that rhetoric. The notion that
okay, you're not doing that, huh? You're not trying to allow illegal immigrants to vote in key swing states. That's not a thing. Really, let's test that. So this might be my favorite account on X. L, some bitch I know, over on X. That is at some bitch I know. All one word, capital S, capital B, capital I, capital K. Oh, I think it's I know. But she is fantastic. Her and Ian Carroll are like my favorite accounts on this platform. They are freaking awesome. Elle was one of the first people to reach out to me, actually, after I got fired. When my video went viral, it was funny. So her account and my account have blown up since then. When she first contacted me after my viral video, my mask video, I'm sorry, I should share this. This is Elle. She's like one of my favorite accounts on here. Some bitch I know, at some bitch I know, aspiring philosopher king, archivist. She's got a great show over on Rumble called Big Dig Energy, where she just dives super deep into stuff and pull the stuff she finds is awesome. Like, she has the receipts on so much stuff, but she reached out to me. I had like 400 followers when I made that video. Seriously, like 400 followers. And now I was like 50,000 something followers. And Elle had like 10,000 followers when she reached out to me. And that was February of 2020. Now she's got 87,000 followers. She does great work. She is fantastic. But so she's responding to Ezra Levant here. And Ezra says, I was told this was a conspiracy theory. It's actually a 177-page UN document. And the document he's showing is replacement migration. Replacement migration, you guys. Okay, let's go back to Elle. She's reposting him. She says, it's not a conspiracy theory, Ezra. Can I interest you in John Podesta's Center for American Progress, arguing for a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants to maintain electoral strength in the future? Okay, so I'm not going to have time to read this whole article, but she pulls out some key points here. In this issue brief, we will review the past, the present, and the future of immigration politics, as well as the changing demographic in key states. So she has a screen grab here. It says in this, the demography is destiny. I can never say that word well because I'm retarded. The past, California. The present, Florida, Colorado, Nevada, and Virginia. That's what they're slowly turning blue states. The future, near term, Arizona and North Carolina. The future, long term, Georgia and Texas. These are all the states that they plan on turning blue through illegal immigration and then granting them amnesty towards voting. So here's the article, and I have it pulled up here. But the headline of this article is immigration is, this is from CAP. This is from an article from 2018, by the way, April 8th, 2013, you guys. They've been working on this for a very long time. So the article is immigration is changing the political landscape in key states, right? And I mean, this is a long ass article. I hope you guys read it, but the past, California, and it just shows like all these different states and how the demographics are changing over time and using illegal immigration to do it. The present, Florida. Republicans lost their political monopoly in Florida in 2008 presidential elections, blah, blah, blah. And so the present, Florida, Colorado, Nevada, Virginia. The future near term, Arizona and North Carolina. So that's what they're working on That's what they plan on working on in the near future, because right now they're working on Florida, Colorado, what was the other ones? Virginia and Nevada. Okay, then they plan on working on Florida and North Carolina. The future long-term, Georgia and Texas. And I'll just go straight to the conclusion. This is 3 paragraphs, so this is like all I got time to read. So even leaving California out of the picture, the states analyzed in this issue brief comprise 137 electoral votes. So just throwing California aside, because that's just considered, it's blue. There's nothing that's going to change about that. In 2012, Democrats won 332 electoral votes to the Republicans' 206. So that was Obama's election. But if Arizona, Texas, North Carolina, and Georgia were to shift Democratic, that would bring the grand total of electoral votes to 412, an insurmountable margin. Whether these states, so again, going back to California and how everything that starts here ultimately makes its way to the rest of the country. They turned California into a one-party rule state that seems that there's no way out of it now. And this has been a long-term plan for the rest of the country. They did it first here in California. They plan on doing it for the rest of the country. They want to make the United States a one-party rule. Okay, so even leaving California out of the picture, the states analyzed in this issue brief comprise 137 electoral votes. In 2012, Democrats won 332 votes to the Republicans' 206. But if Arizona, Texas, North Carolina, and Georgia were to shift Democratic, that would bring the grand total of electoral votes to 412, an insurmountable margin. Whether these states flip from red to blue is an open question, but 2 things are abundantly clear. In each of these states, voters of color, particularly Latinos, are becoming an ever larger share of the voting population by design. There's a reason that they're flying illegal immigrants all over the country to specific areas, to key swing states, because they ultimately plan on granting them all amnesty and having them vote for the Democrats. These voters care deeply about how both parties talk about immigration and use it as a litmus test for how candidates from their party feel about the communities as a whole. In fact, immigration reform has become the #1 political issue for Latino voters. Go figure. The voters have spoken and the message is clear. Getting right on immigration is getting behind real and enduring immigration reform that contains a pathway to citizenship for the 11 million undocumented immigrants living in our country is the only way to maintain electoral strength in the future. This was 2013, and they're talking about 11 million voters. Now, what is it? I mean, 30 million, 40 million, 50 million? How many? Like, the population of the United States is only 330 million, roughly, give or take. Think about how many people this is. 30 to 50 million illegal immigrants have been brought in. And if they just grant them amnesty. So so again, California, the litmus test, right? California is like the blueprint, the trial state. Okay? So what happened in Reagan's 1986 illegal immigrant amnesty? You guys know about this one? I'm sure I know I know Jackie does, but let me go back to the chat really quick. Jackie, we must deport all immigrants that have come into our country in the last 4 years. This is unsustainable and evil play to control the country, circumventing our sovereignty and our Constitution. I agree. How? Like, I don't like the idea of jackboot thugs going door to door asking for papers. I don't like that idea, but I mean, like Trump says, you got to start with the people. You got to start with the criminals. You got to start with the violent criminals. But we'll get back to that. So Reagan's 1986 illegal immigrant amnesty. So if you guys don't use Brave browser, you should. It's fantastic. You can answer questions with AI, and it gives really concrete, thorough answers. It's fantastic. So Reagan's 1986 illegal immigrant amnesty. In 1986, President Ronald Reagan signed the Immigration Reform and Control Act, the IRCA, also known as the Simpson-Mazzoli Act or the Reagan Amnesty. This landmark legislation aimed to address the issue of illegal immigration in the United States. Key provisions. All right. So the first one is what happened, but the other things are really important. amnesty. So this is like the biggest thing that happened. But the other things, it's hilarious how they just went away. Amnesty. The law granted legal status to approximately 3 million undocumented immigrants who had been in the country since January 1st, 1982. To qualify, individuals had to register with the government, pass background checks, and demonstrate their continuous residence in the United States. Not too steep of requirements there. Doesn't even say anything about you can't be a criminal. Anyway, so we're going to grant amnesty to all you guys in California. All you illegal immigrants that are here in California, we're going to grant you amnesty as long as you've been here since 1982, can pass a background check. Okay, I guess that does talk about felonies, right? Background check. And demonstrate their continuous residence in the United States. So you can't have been living back and forth in the United States and Mexico or whatever. And again, this is back in the day when the only illegal immigration you had to worry about were people coming from Mexico. Now you got people coming from all over the world, and it's an organized thing by the UN. People coming over the Darien Gap. Muckraker does a great expose on that. Brett Weinstein does great work on exposing what's happening. You've got people coming from every freaking country, especially the countries that have massive problems. Okay, so amnesty, that's the thing. So this was like a trade-off. This illegal immigrant amnesty bill that was passed, it was like a trade-off. It's like, okay, we're going to grant amnesty, but you got to give us something too. So border control. The IRCA mandated increased border security measures, including the hiring of additional border patrol agents and the construction of a fencing along the U.S.-Mexico border. Oh, you mean build the wall? Build the wall is a thing before Trump? Crazy. I thought like walls and barriers didn't work. I don't know why they have one in, around Gaza. It's weird. It's almost like walls actually do work. Employer verification. Okay, this is the one that blows my mind. So the law introduced penalties for employers who knowingly hired undocumented immigrants with the goal of discouraging the practice of hiring illegal workers. What happened to that? What happened to that? So Gavin's sanctuary state policies have just blown that out of the freaking water. Any of you guys have been on a construction site, especially like the framers? A lot of framers out there. It seems that they only hire, I don't know who's illegal and who's not, but a lot of them just don't speak any English whatsoever. And it doesn't seem like they hire any white guys. I don't know. Call me racist, whatever. But remember when it was like they're working the jobs that Americans don't want to work? Really? I know plenty of people that would love to be framers. It's a good paying job. It's a valuable skill to have. Okay. Future immigration. Although the IRCA did not establish a clear pathway for low-skilled foreign workers to enter the country legally, it did create a temporary program for agricultural workers and a system for family-based immigration. Okay. Legacy and criticisms. The Reagan amnesty has been credited with reducing the number of undocumented immigrants in the United States, but its long-term effectiveness has been debated. Critics argue that the law's sanctions against employers were not vigorously enforced. So, you think? Allowing the practice of hiring undocumented workers to continue. Do you think? Oh, so frustrating. Others contend that the lack of clear pathway for low-skilled foreign workers to enter the country legally has contributed to ongoing immigration issues. Today, the Reagan amnesty remains a significant factor in the ongoing debate over the U.S. immigration policy, with some arguing that it set precedent for future amnesties and others criticizing its perceived shortcomings. Yeah, I'm in that camp. I'm definitely in that camp. So Reagan signed it. I mean, yeah, it was all backed by Democrats, but Reagan, the Republican, you guys hero, your Republican hero. I'm not a Republican, you guys. I'm a libertarian. Yes, I'm voting for Trump, but that's because I think Trump is the most likely candidate to push many of my liberty values forward. Disagree with him on a lot of stuff, but anyway, it's a whole other conversation. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Reagan Republican either, because Reagan did a lot of dumb shit. Okay, Jackie, here's your article. Let's read your article. It's not too long. Yeah, we're gonna read Jackie's article here. So let's see. check in with the chat really quick before I do. Let's see. Okay. Lonnie, Reagan turned California blue. There you go. I mean, pretty well said. I do not disagree with you, sir. Yep, worked construction. Can't go one over on Rumble. Can't go one. Different up in Canada, mostly white dudes. Huh, interesting. Can't go one, but that was 15 years ago. Yeah, a lot can change in 15 years. Jackie over on X, California never paid attention to the prohibition on hiring illegal immigrants. No prosecution whatsoever. I can tell. Can't go 120 actually. Yeah, definitely a lot can change in 20 years. Gavin Newsom was the mayor. Like, I graduated high school 23 years ago. So yeah, lots changed since I graduated high school. Democrats are not the party of law and order. Absolutely not. Why not vote for the gay race communist Chase? What did you say? Oh, Chase Oliver. Why not vote for the gay race communist Chase? I think that was sarcastic, Northside, over on Rumble. EJ Jill. Haha, Chase, no way. Yeah, I know. I know. If Mike, dude, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name right now. I'm sorry. If Rechtenwald would have won, I would have had a hard time not voting for Rechtenwald. He definitely kind of shit the bed a little bit at the convention, though. Love him. Love Rechtenwald. He's awesome. I sat with him at dinner. He is a cool dude. But Dave, man. Dave Smith. Why? Why did you not run, dude? Why not? Anyway, all right, we'll keep going. Let's read. We're going to read Jackie Rattaco's. Jackie Rattaco. I'm saying that right? Right? Correct? Right? Jackie Rattaco's article over on X here. So this is California, the tip of the immigration spear. So there's an article from Jackie Rattaco. If you are not following her, you should be at JARITACCO. JARITACCO. You guys should definitely give her a follow. Also, if you're still watching or if you're just tuning in, please give the show a like, a repost, a share, leave a comment, any of that good stuff. It'd be greatly helpful. All right, let's read this awesome article from Jackie. California, the tip of the immigration spear. Undocumented immigrants have been coming to America for a very long time. For years, California was the major destination for most of these immigrants. Here's my take on the current state of affairs in California. When motor vehicle registration was introduced in 1995, it allowed everyone to register to vote through the DMV. In 2012, voter registration was put online. In 2015, undocumented people were allowed to gain access to driver's licenses. I make this point often. Once that happened, they began to be enticed by NGOs. I worked for one, in parentheses, I worked for one that did this, to register people to vote. No verification of citizenship is now required with these automated processes. In fact, the California Secretary of State website instructs people to contact their county for a voter registration number in the absence of possessing a social security number. And I'm curious, when they automatically register people, what party affiliation do they give them? That's what I'm curious about. With changes in place for voter registration, Republicans began to lose legislative seats en masse from 1995 onward. Data prepared by ChatGPT, see chart below. The blue takeover of the state had started. Once COVID hit in 2020, it escalated and we saw the introduction of mailed ballots to every registered voter, verified or not, and legal ballot harvesting introduced in 2017. Ballot harvesting where you can go around to multiple houses and, pick up people's ballots and turn them in for them, Many people would say that people go door to door and say, hey, are you going to vote? If they say no, well, you want to take your ballot and check these boxes and we'll give you a gift card. That's illegal, but not saying that it doesn't happen. Okay, so once COVID hit in 2020, it escalated and we saw the introduction of mailed ballots to every registered voter, verified or not, and legal ballot harvesting introduced in 2017 ramped up. Vote centers where people could register to vote and vote same day in the largely big blue counties were set up. No verification of ID or citizenship required. California has had no ongoing cleanup of voter rolls for years. See below for court-mandated cleanups in LA County recently. Ballot harvesting allows a voter to designate any person to return their vote by mail ballot. The designated person does not need to be related to the voter. There's no limit on the number of ballots a designated person can return. Okay. The person returning the ballot must sign the ballot envelope, including their relationship to the voter and date the ballot was received. There's no checks on signatures at all. And I'm wondering, do these people get paid by the ballot? Several 2018 midterm elections were determined by late counting of harvested ballots. California takes 30 days to count ballots and report official results. Add all this up and what you get, and what you can see is that add this up and you can see that California laws and practices, the most liberal voting laws in the nation, can attribute to fraud that disenfranchises voters on a large scale. Oh man, you're triggering me with this one, Jackie. Several legal challenges are in motion, info courtesy of Claude. What is Claude? The Republican National Committee, the RNC, and the California Republican Party in 2019, they filed a lawsuit challenging several aspects of California's voting laws, including ballot collection. Status: the case was largely dismissed in 2020, but some aspects are still ongoing in appeals. Election Integrity Project California, this conservative group has filed multiple lawsuits challenging various aspects of California's election system in 2022. They filed lawsuits alleging that California voter rolls are inaccurate and outdated. Status: this case is still pending in federal court. Judicial Watch. The Conservative Foundation has sued California multiple times over voting practices. They've focused on voter roll maintenance and alleged that some counties have more registered voters than eligible citizens. Funny, huh? Weird how that worked out. Status: some of these cases have led to settlements requiring counties to improve their voter roll maintenance practices. In LA County, 1.2 million people were recently removed from the rolls. Individual candidates: some candidates who lost close elections have challenged results, often citing concerns about ballot collection practices. These challenges have generally been unsuccessful in overturning results. Challenge to universal mail-in voting. In 2021, there was a lawsuit challenging California's decision to send mail-in ballots to all registered voters. Status: the challenge was rejected by the California Supreme Court. What a shocker. This court is made up of Democrat appointments. Crazy how that works out. Challenge to Voters' Choice Act. This 2016 law, which allows counties to run all mail elections with vote centers, has faced some legal challenges. Status: these challenges have generally been unsuccessful and more counties continue to adopt this model. Look at the data below, see if any of the history might correlate with changes in the law. Look at the 1995, everything changed. Look at 1995, everything changes then. Changes in demographics in California cannot explain all of this. If you have evidence that it can, I am open to seeing it. Looking at it all, one can readily conclude that California has been on the leading edge of progressive voting policies and systems, resulting in disenfranchised conservative Republican voters for many years. As a consequence of this transformation to blue, California now has one of the richest sets of benefits for undocumented aliens, and their arrival continues. Free food stamps. So these are the sanctuary state policies. Free food stamps, general relief money, housing assistance, free health care. We are generous, and the cost of this burden on taxpayers is extraordinary. Individuals, families, and corporations are leaving California at a rapid rate due to this burden. It is possible and highly probable many registered voters are undocumented aliens. The system set up facilities and allows it to happen. The unprecedented influx of 10+ million undocumented aliens in the last 3.5 years will have a major impact on elections across the nation as other states look to California and emulate its policies and practices. Oh, you're triggering me, Jackie. California has proven how to permanently change from red to blue. It can be done. No amnesty or citizenship required, just NGOs funded by your tax dollars and progressive blue sanctuary voting policies in place. if you're still with me, thanks for reading. If you care about this issue, you are for your state, share this information. Great article. Dr. Jackie Rataco, I think this is from ChatGPT. Dr. Jackie Rataco is a leadership scholar practitioner with a career spanning 4 decades in leadership positions within the healthcare system. Her work includes building access to healthcare in underserved communities towards the goal of eliminating healthcare disparities. See that she's actually doing the stuff the Democrats claim to do. Jackie holds a master's degree in business administration and a doctorate in strategic leadership studies and consults in the areas of strategy and education, leadership, and development. As a published author, she writes on many subjects in popular press and organization developmental journals. Dr. Rataco my eyes are getting tired. Dr. Rataco is an adjunct professor with Belhaven University, teaching advanced health policy and economics and works with doctoral candidates in the business administration department. Oh, sorry. That was me reading white letters off of a black screen. And when I close my eyes, it gives me freaking stripes in my eyes. Jackie, great article. You triggered me, and now I'm angry. Let's check into the chat here. Oh, man. Okay. Northside over on Rumble. That was indeed sarcasm. I hope so. Cloud is AI. Awesome. Great article, Jackie. Fantastic article. Let's keep going here. Got a couple more things to get through in this same vein here. So, okay. So I'm gonna play Mayorkas's little thing here again really quick. So this is back to, remember, this is what Alejandro Mayorkas, did I call him Alexander before? Alejandro, sorry. Alejandro Mayorkas says that this is absolutely not the plan to allow them to vote.
The notion that we in law enforcement have sought to intentionally allow individuals to cross the border illegally for the purpose of voting is preposterous, and everyone should condemn that rhetoric.
Okay, all right. So that's what he has to say there. Oh, let's go over and check out Santa Ana. So Santa Ana's Measure DD on the November ballot would allow city residents to vote in local elections, regardless of citizenship status. Santa Ana, illegal immigrants voting in local elections. Well, wait a minute. There's only one ballot. There's only one ballot, you guys. All your local elections are on the same ballot as the presidential elections and the state elections and all the propositions. Well, how's that going to work? How is that going to work, you guys? How are they going to ignore certain aspects of individuals' ballots? How are they going to do that? Jackie, do you know? How do they do that? Jackie, if you're still watching, I would love your feedback on this. Santa Ana plans to allow non-citizens to vote in local elections. How are they going to separate the local election official or the local politicians that are running for local office, local ballot measures versus state and federal politicians and ballot measures? How are they going to separate those two? I don't understand. That sounds a little bit suspect to me. Let's go over to the article. Jackie, I would love your feedback on that one. Yeah, so let's go over to ABC 7 News and see what they have to say about this.
That you're informed when you make sure that you're informed when you fill out your ballot. Orange County reporter Jessica Thanova.
What's going on here? Uh-oh. Might have to refresh this, you guys. Let me refresh this page here. It's freaking out a little bit. I apologize. Sorry, you guys. This is a long one, but I only got a few more things to get through. Okay. Let's see. Are you better now? Are you better now? ABC 7? Come on. this is not a high budget show, you guys. And on that note, if you'd like to repost, share, leave a comment, or any of that stuff, it greatly helps the show. Okay, let's listen.
Jessica the Nova takes an in-depth look at Santa Ana's Measure DD and what it could mean for future elections.
These newlyweds are working right through their honeymoon phase, organizing in their communities. That's how they met.
He has been advocating for the community. He's been an organizer in the community. He's been an organizer for almost 2 decades now. I've seen how much he and others like him have poured into the city to make it such a vibrant place.
Tracy Law talking about the city of Santa Ana. According to a May 2024 report by the Harbor Institute for Immigrant and Economic Justice, nearly a quarter of the city's population, that's more than 70,000 people, are non-citizens. One of them, La's husband, Carlos Perea, who is the executive director of the nonprofit behind the report.
Non-citizens or illegal immigrants. And you know what? Either way, even if you got your green card and all that stuff, work permit, like you're here legitimately, no, I still don't think you should be able to vote. No, absolutely not. You are on a temporary status. Once the United States allows, it's one of the only countries in the world that allows people to become United States citizens. You have to go through a process. Once you go through that process, yes, I believe you should be allowed to vote when you go through the process. If you don't, you shouldn't be allowed to vote. It's that simple. That's it.
Though he has a permit to legally work in the country, Perea says, like many of his non-citizen neighbors, he lives in limbo waiting for
Also, if you came here illegally,
a change in immigration policy at the federal level to provide him a pathway to citizenship. In the meantime, he can't vote.
We pay taxes. We pay more than $170 million in state and local taxes. And we want to have a say on how our city government is run, just like everyone else.
That's just what Measure DD would do if voters in Santa Ana pass it this November.
tough shit. Like tough shit. The company I work for, we travel all over the world to go and do installations. We just had people over in London for 3 months. I don't expect to go over to London and be able to vote in their local elections. We got to go to Amsterdam. I don't expect to be able to go over to Amsterdam and be able to vote in their local elections, even if I'm there for multiple years. If I become a citizen of that country, sure. But if you came here illegally, you should never be allowed a path to citizenship. You shouldn't be allowed to work here either. They talk about how, they're paying taxes and this and that. Yeah, you shouldn't be, because you shouldn't be working here. If you came here illegally, again, if you had a green card, you went through a process that allows you to work legitimately, not just ignoring Reagan's amnesty bill thing crap. No, you shouldn't be allowed to work unless you went through the proper procedures. So frustrating. Santa Ana wants to allow non-citizens. They just say non-citizens. They're very careful with their verbiage. I believe that would also include illegal immigrants. So there's that. Very frustrating. Okay, let's continue. We're almost through all of it here, folks. Let's go over to MJ Truth Ultra. And this is an interview with JD Vance on a New York Times interview. This MJ Truth Ultra says, New York Times reporter reacts in horror to JD Vance when JD Vance suggests Americans, not illegal immigrants, start building homes again. She says if Trump and he deport all illegal aliens, nobody will build our homes anymore. JD gives her a thorough spanking and sets her liberal panty straight. So, okay, let's watch this quick clip from a New York Times interview with JD Vance.
The reason that there is a housing crisis is that not enough houses have been built.
And that we have 25 million people who shouldn't be here.
Well, I mean, this is the thing.
I think it's both.
I know you do. I don't think that many people who look into this agree with you, but about a third of the construction workforce in this country is Hispanic. Of those, a large proportion are undocumented. So how do you propose to build all the housing necessary that we need in this country by removing all the people who are working in construction?
Well, I think it's a fair question, because we know that back in the 1960s when we had very low levels of illegal immigration, Americans didn't buy houses, didn't build houses. But of course they did. And I'm being sarcastic, of course, in service of a point, Lulu, the assumption that because a large number of home builders now are using undocumented labor, that's the only way to build homes. I think, again,
the country is much bigger.
Fundamental.
The need is much bigger. I mean, I'm not arguing in favor of illegal immigration. I'm asking how you would
There you
deal
are.
with the knock-on effect of your proposal to remove millions of people who work in a critical part of the economy.
Well, I think that what you would do is you would take, let's say, for example, the 7 million prime age men who have dropped out of the labor force, and you have a smaller number of women, but still millions of women prime age who have dropped out of the labor force. You absolutely could re-engage folks into the American labor market. This is, I think,
to work in construction.
Of course, you could.
I mean,
how about we also stop encouraging kids out of high school to go to college and get gender studies degrees and take out hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans to get something useless that isn't going to actually help them in the workforce, and instead encourage young people to go to trade schools and learn valuable trades like framing, electrical, plumbing, pipe fitting, welding, all that kind of stuff. Teach them valuable skills that they can use, not send them off to indoctrination camps that they need to go into a lifetime of debt for.
The unemployment rate is 4.1%. Most people who
unemployment rate, Lulu, this is important.
But most people who don't work can't work in the regular economy. They're in the military, they're parents, they're sick, they're old. They might not want to work in construction.
The unemployment rate does not count labor force participation dropouts. And again, this is one of the really deranged things that I think illegal immigration does to our society, is it gets us in a mindset of saying we can only build houses with illegal immigrants when we have 7 million, just men, not even women, just men who have completely dropped out of the labor force. People say, well, Americans won't do those jobs. Americans won't do those jobs for below the table wages. They won't do those jobs for non-living wages, but people will do those jobs. They will just do those jobs at certain wages. And think about this from the perspective of an American company, okay? I want them to go searching in their own country for their own citizens. Sometimes people who may be struggling with addiction or trauma, get them re-engaged in American society. We cannot have an entire American business community that is giving up on American workers and then importing millions of illegal laborers. That is what we have thanks to Kamala Harris's border policies. I think it's one of the biggest drivers of inequality. It's one of the biggest reasons why we have millions of people who have dropped out of the labor force. Why try to re-engage an American citizen in a good job if you can just import somebody from Central America who's going to work under the table for poverty wages? It is a disgrace, and it has led to the evisceration of the American middle class.
Pretty well put. And a lot of people would argue that illegal immigrants are harder workers than, white middle-aged men. Maybe. I mean, I have no hate against Latino construction workers, as long as they're not undercutting American workers and willing to work under the table and get subsidized by the state. Like, that's one of the reasons that illegal immigrants can afford to take these under the table lower wages, is because they're getting subsidized on their housing. They're getting subsidized on their food. They don't need to make as much money as an American person who, specifically here in California, where rent is through the roof. I mean, look at the advantage illegal immigrants have over a middle-class construction worker. They're having their housing subsidized, they're having their food subsidized, and that allows them to undercut the Californian construction worker. How is that good for California? And that's not the free market at work. That's subsidizing the destruction of the middle class. It's insane. These policies are insane. So JD Vance kind of takes her to task on that one. I got a couple more clips I want to play here. So this isn't really a clip. I mean, this is just from some liberal. Just says this is Boston Smalls, whoever that is. He says, every MAGA I've ever seen complain about immigrations taking American jobs would never do this. for the right wage. And any of you guys ever been out in Monterey County, Moss Landing area? Monterey, Seaside, all agricultural out there. Yeah, people would do this for the right wages. But again, if you've got illegal immigrants working these jobs and they're getting subsidized by the state, yeah, this is what you're going to get. Okay, keep going. And people act like, remember the old phrase of illegal immigrants are only doing jobs that Americans wouldn't want. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Here's again, using Brave AI. You guys know about San Francisco police and non-U.S. citizens? According to the search results, a non-U.S. citizen can apply to join the San Francisco Police Department as long as they meet certain requirements. No longer required. A U.S. citizenship is no longer required for employment with the city and county of San Francisco. Residency. You do not need to be a resident of San Francisco or California to apply. You don't even need to live here. I wonder if you can be outside the country and apply. Background investigation. All applicants, including non-U.S. citizens, must successfully complete a background investigation. Well, what if they don't have a background? What if they came here illegally and nobody knows who they are? Note, while non-U.S. citizens can apply, honesty is crucial when reporting crimes or incidents, as each case is evaluated individually. SFPD members, including non-U.S. citizens, must follow federal law regarding the use of narcotics and other procedures. Programs and incentives. The SFPD offers various programs and incentives that may be of interest to non-U.S. citizens. Youth Academy, a program for children between 10 and 14 years old, modeled after the Citizens Academy program for adults, focusing on leadership skills, teamwork, discipline, and positive relationships between police and local youth. Community programs. SFPD engages with the community through programs like Neighborhood Watch and community-oriented policing, problem solving, aiming to promote public safety and security. Okay, so yeah, that was a bill Nancy Skinner authored that allows any police department in California to hire non-U.S. citizens. Now I want to know, does this create a pathway for illegal immigrants to become police officers in California? I think it does. So some of the key sanctuary state policies that contribute to all of the insane shit that we see in California here. California has implemented various sanctuary state policies to limit cooperation between local law enforcement and federal immigration authorities, primarily Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. These policies aim to protect undocumented immigrants and promote public safety. Key provisions include protect undocumented immigrants, protect illegal aliens, prohibition on immigration status inquiries. California law SB 54, 2017, prohibits state and local law enforcement from inquiring about an individual's immigration status during the routine course of their work, except in certain circumstances, such as when an individual is arrested for a serious or violent felony. And they must be convicted of that in order for them to be able to cooperate with ICE. Limitations on ICE detainers. California law prohibits law enforcement from honoring ICE detainers' requests to hold individuals for up to 48 hours unless the individual has been convicted of a serious violent felony. So somebody robs someone at gunpoint and gets arrested, right? Like that's a violent offense, right? Well, something like they get arrested, ID'd somehow, and then ICE sees that in their system. ICE hits up the local police department. They're like, hey, can you put this guy on a 48-hour hold so we can get our guys over there to detain him, to take him into federal custody? No, they won't do that. They have to be convicted of the violent crime. It's going to be a catch and release. It's insane. This means that local authorities cannot detain somebody solely based on an ICE detainer if they have not been convicted of a serious violent crime. Conviction, not arrested for, even if they caught them right in the act. Restrictions on ICE access to local facilities. California law restricts ICE access to local jails and prisons. So they can't even go there. Requiring ICE agents to obtain a warrant or court order to access facilities and interview inmates. Protection for undocumented immigrants. California law prohibits local law enforcement from sharing information about an individual's immigration status with ICE, except for certain circumstances, such as when an individual is arrested for a serious or violent felony. Is arrested for. Okay, so that's good. Training for law. Well, it's not good, but it's better. Training for law enforcement. California law requires law enforcement agencies to provide training on the state's sanctuary state policies and procedures to ensure compliance. These policies have been implemented through a combination of state legislation and executive actions by Governor Jerry Brown, while the Trump administration has criticized California sanctuary state policies, arguing they hinder federal immigration enforcement. The policies remain in place and have been upheld by courts. It's essential to note that California sanctuary state policies do not apply to all cities and counties within the state. Some cities and counties, the based ones, such as Huntington Beach, Jackie, have passed resolutions opposing the state's sanctuary state policies and have been more cooperative with ICE. Additionally, some counties like Orange County, the based county, have joined lawsuits against the state's sanctuary states laws. Such a triggering episode for me, you guys. Oh, I didn't even share that. I didn't need to. I'm just reading it. But such a triggering episode, you guys. I apologize. I went pretty long on this one. Let's see. Yeah, over 3 hours. So let's see here. Catch up with the chat. That's the last thing I got tonight, you guys. So we're gonna catch up with the chat. We're gonna call it an evening. So let's go all the way back. Okay, let's see. Okay, Jack Downing over on X. Only someone who goes through the naturalization process should be allowed to vote. 100% agree with you. Jackie Rataco over on X. They say they plan to have special ballots and barcodes according to the OC, the Orange County Registration of Voters, that include precinct-specific ballots distributed to a voter's address, which will ensure they receive their correct ballot. This will never be in place, nor will it work. Voter rolls are a complete mess. About what I was thinking. Thanks for clearing that up, Jackie. There's no way to separate. So Santa Ana wants to allow non-citizens, illegal immigrants, to vote in their local elections. Again, there's no way to separate local ballot measures and local politicians running for local positions to separate them between federal ballot measures and federal political positions. Gank01 over on Rumble. Yep, trades are the way. 100%. You can make so much money in trades. Jack Downing over on X. Construction is the best is of the best jobs right now. I 100% agree. If you got I don't think people know how much electricians make. Like union electricians. Do you guys know how much they make? Union linemen, union cable splicers. It's insane. I'm the low man on the totem pole. I'm sounding calm, and I make good money. People have no idea. If you have a skilled trade, you can not write your own paycheck, but you can make a damn good living even here in California. Jackie over on X. Don't forget completely free healthcare in California for illegal immigrants. Yep. Thanks for triggering me again, Jackie. Let's see. Mangy Vermin over on Rumble. I've grown to love JD Vance. His debate with Tampon Tim was a masterclass in debating. There was a fantastic debate. As I've talked about before, I still don't trust him. I do not trust him primarily because of his relationship with Peter Thiel and Peter Thiel, Palantir, all that shit. Jack Downing, Moss Landing is like California's breadbasket. Yeah, they grow a lot of food out of Monterey County. Lonnie, danger. Also, when you use illegal immigrants, you also don't have to pay payroll taxes. There you go. Interesting. Another good point. Jack Downing over on X. DHS is bringing in illegals for the military right now, according to a source I have at the U.S. State Department. That is one of the main reasons for the humanitarian parolee program. Interesting. If you want to send me something on that, that'd be awesome, Jack. Jackie over on X. Orange County still has a DA that is a good guy. Todd Spitzer is a law enforcement guy. Jackie, you're probably not going to like me. I'm not a huge fan of the cops. I'm not a huge law enforcement guy, mainly because they became the stormtroopers for all the COVID insanity, and they say to protect and serve, right? I don't think that's to protect and serve us. That's to protect and serve their overlords, the people that write their paychecks. So you probably won't like a lot of my views on law enforcement. Mangy Vermin over on Rumble. I got an idea. Let's hire illegal aliens to protect us and keep us safe and secure from illegal aliens keeping us unsafe. Beautiful. Freaking beautiful. Bob Tiergarden over on Rumble. Nice to see you again. Then when illegals move to Florida, the NGOs will get mail-in ballots for them and fill those out to get that vote. The illegals will likely vote elsewhere too. 100%. Duopoly Deep. EJ Jill over on Rumble. All right, folks. It's been a long one. I hope you enjoyed this episode of CaliBased. If you haven't already, please like, share, repost, follow me on other platforms, all that good stuff. If you want to support the show, there is a little icon in my bio on Twitter. You can contribute that way. I got a website in the works. I got merch in the works, but I'm just so busy with freaking work. I can't get around to promoting my show, doing clips, actually trying to monetize this thing. So yeah, I just kind of do it for fun right now. And I love talking with you guys. So again, if you want to help the show grow, go ahead and like, repost, follow me on all platforms, all that good stuff. And my Twitter bio is my link tree. If you want to follow me over on Rumble, YouTube, X, all that good stuff. All right, folks, it has been a fun one. Jackie, this has been really great. Really had a good time. Thanks. No, thank you, Jackie. Thank you for all you're doing for Californians. I appreciate it. Fighting the good fight. We should chat sometime. Maybe even have you on the show. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'd like to pick your brain about. You seem very informed on California politics, and you've been in the game for quite a while. I'm still a newbie. So, yeah, love to pick your brain. EJ, Jill, busy is good. Enjoy. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. You know how we do it, though. Before I get out of here, I got to read you a joke from the greatest book ever written, The Truth About Chuck Norris. Let's see. What do we have tonight? Okay. All right. This is a long one, so it better be good, because sometimes I read these really long jokes and they're just not that funny, and it's a big disappointment. But all right, here it goes. Chuck Norris, joke of the evening. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I will see you next Sunday, possibly earlier. Whenever Chuck Norris makes a joke, the sound of an audience laughing comes from out of nowhere. Chuck will then turn to you, smile, and give you 2 thumbs up. After that, everything freezes. Even you are unable to move. The laughter then returns into music as credits begin to scroll down from thin air. Finally, your sight fades to black and there is nothing. When you regain vision and mobility, Chuck Norris is nowhere to be found. And on that note, stay Cali-based.